Okay. There we go. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Bang, bang. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, there we go. 40. That should work. Let's see. The Earth. There we go. You found it. Uh-oh. Bam. Okay. Not a little understanding. What up, Ertz? What's that? I got which ad? Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Did I pin that? Did I pin that? I don't think I did. Pin message. There we go. Hold on 1 second. Bam, bam. I've been 24 hours, no tobacco. I'm dry or vaping my weed, man. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Yeah. Wait till you see how life goes when you stop doing that. Dun, 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 dun. How expensive is that? Yeah. Especially if it's ripe. How expensive is that? You don't gotta tell me. Yeah, how expensive is the vape version? I know how much. Damn, dude. Holy. Okay. All right. Okay. Tell me to stop anytime. Tell me to stop anytime. Okay. So 7 times 24. Okay. So there's 186 months in 7 years. Okay. So 100,000 divided by 186. 168. $600 a month. I'm a koala bear, idiot. Koalifications. I'm a koala bear. That's my qualifications, duh. Right here, look, here. Bam, that's me. That's my I wear freaking glasses, duh. That's my qualifications. Qualifications. Yeah, dude. That's a freaking $150 a week. Yep. You need a refund. Abso-freaking-lutely. Dude. But you must make good money, dude. Or you're broke as piss after spending all that. Wow. Dude, that's $20 a day. $20 a day. Yeah, apparently. But imagine, dude, if you would have, if the past 6 years, if you would have invested $80,000 in silver when it was $20 an ounce, it's at like what? What is silver now? Even if you would have just kept up until last year, last January 2 Januaries ago, January 2025, it was still at $20 an ounce. Silver spot price, $73. So you would, dude, you would have bought like an ounce of silver a week. An ounce of silver a week at $20. An ounce a day at $20 an ounce. If you would have bought an ounce of silver a day at $20 an ounce, you would be a freaking millionaire right now. Oh, yeah, brother. Brother, I'm back. I still got a little bit of work to do, and I got to set up my controller and everything. But I probably won't be playing until tomorrow, Gersher. I got it installed now. I also got it set up so I can stream it. I have my Minecraft link set up and everything, but I gotta work with a couple of adjustments. So I'll probably this time tomorrow, 3:30 tomorrow, probably earlier. But I still have to go. I'm still working on that bathroom right now, so I don't want to get directly into it right now. Yeah, fine. Yeah, bars, right, absolutely. No, whatever you get. I get bullying. I get freaking, whatever you want to get, dude. But just look at this. So if we go over, we'll go 2 years. We'll go 5 years, okay, look. All right, so 5 years. So look at this jump. I know it's hard to see, but so January last year, it was at $23, $23. I know you can't see that here. $22, $23, right? And then now it went up to it went up past 100, but right now it's at 73, right? So that would you'd have $500,000 easy, but you'd have more than that. You definitely have more than that. No worries, it takes take it easy. House Flipper 1 will be your game as it's made for you. This game you're gonna go. Okay, cool. Hey, I like it. I'm glad you found that, Gersher. I'm glad you found that for me. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So coins aren't 99.99 typically. That's why 1 ounce coins are typically and they can be. You can get what's called a premium with the stamping process and everything. So sometimes they'll sell, and this is what's the cheat here. Sometimes they'll sell an ounce coin for what the ounce of silver sells for, but it's only like 80% instead of 99 or right around there. It's the stamping, the actual artwork that was done on it that you're paying for. Yeah. Buying Bitcoin. What up, Mr. Palad? Yeah, that's fine. So did I. I think we all did. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a 100-ounce bar, $8,000. So right now, a 100-ounce bar should be $737. $7,377. But because it's stamped and whatnot, it's 8,500. But you'll get a premium on it. So what you pay also for, you pay against, you pay for the assaying. So somebody actually tests it molecularly, radioactively, molecularly. I bought Morgan Silver's $21. Yeah, dude. So that's good. That's really freaking good. Yeah. Let me see what they got here for. Let me go back here. Morgan's Mexican. Here you go. Morgan Silver right here. They're $76 right now. You're doing good, Mr. Palad. You're doing good. Yeah, dude. You're not on the Discord, and you're not allowed on the Discord. I bought gold at $215. $215.20. Oh, gold! Yes. You're doing really good. You still holding it? It's at what, 5K right now? It's over 5K. Where's it at? No, it's at 46. Where's gold? Oh, I'm at the wrong thing. Gold. Yeah, it's at $4,600. So it's up. Yeah, dude, that's really good. What up, Sandra? What up, Sandra? Sandra, Sandra. We were just trying to find you a gift, Sandra, and you walked in on us. Nah, we didn't know what to get you. 10-ounce gold bar, 50 freaking grand. Yeah, boy. Yeah, dude. I got Bitcoin at that's 200. That's really freaking good, especially if you still got it. Best way to get gold if you don't got it is buy junk jewelry. Yeah, right. And buy it for cheap. Those stores that pop up, we buy junk gold. You give people like freaking a third or whatever. You choose what you want. Whatever they'll buy it for. You know. Like if they come in with a pound of gold and you say I'll give you $500 and they're like, all right, you'd be like, okay, here you go, yeah, whatever, yeah, and that's the thing, you could do that, and people don't know what they got, and most people when they're selling their jewelry and their gold, it's because they're at their wits' end and at the end of their rope, you know. You just figured that you're like, oh, that's gold. Feeding stray cats channel notification. What happened? Oh, you were feeding stray cats when you got a channel notification? Yeah, I tell you what. You got to be very trusting to buy rounds and stuff from people. Best way to buying gold, silver is off Craigslist. You pay no taxes. Yeah, and any of that, but you can get scammed, right? And you don't know till you go to sell it, right? You go to sell it and they're like, oh, this is half lead. This is lead with a freaking couple milligrams casing of something. Oh, you've got feeding stray cat channel notification. Gotcha. I thought you were saying I was feeding stray cats and I got the channel notification that you went live. Like, all right, get out of here, cats. We got to go 110. I achieved a height of fart today. I farted so loudly that it tore a hole in my shorts. It also smelled like burning dog poop. Yeah, that's probably that. You should definitely get off the vegetables. That's rough. That's definitely. Dude, so when I used to work at Ritz Camera, I worked in motive photo and Ritz Camera stuff when I was younger. And at least once a week, somebody would come in with an old roll of film they found while moving or whatever. Like, remember the 110 film? Like, it looked like binoculars if you look tilted this way. Anyway, and it was all, like, we would always have somebody got a turd that made it all the way around the toilet. And they're like, get the camera, Betty! Yeah. It happened, like, at least... I'll just say monthly, but more often than that. Dude. And then 6,000 into silver or Bitcoin. It's better than frickin' oil. Your oils that you're smoking. Dude, just burning money. Burning it. I can't imagine living in Hawaii paying all that freaking property tax and spending $100K in freaking this. But hey, do what you gotta do. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Did you order your vitamins, Ertz? I'm very, very, very interested. I'm very, very interested to see how you're affected when you finally get yourself a 56. Don't tell Kahora that she's looking for a couple 5060 Ti's. I think they're like $5,000 or something with the amount of memory that she wanted in it. I just came back from a cursed drive. My radiator got cracked in the desert. Deserted you 50 miles. 50-mile stretch. Thankfully, I had two 25-liter bottles of dispenser. Wow, every 5 miles to top the water up. Yeah, 16 G's. DDR5, 32 G's. That's freaking, yeah, that's expensive. Let's see. I mean, I guess it depends what town you're in. Average property tax. And what city are we talking about? Let's just say Honolulu. Average property tax on Honolulu. 0.35%, so $33.50 per $1,000. So if you've got a $200,000 house, which is no way happening. But just say it's like $400,000 house. Dang, what am I doing? It's $14,000 a year on a $400,000 house. So that's freaking crazy, dude. Oh, and look at this. Look, other taxes and property taxes ripping apart Hawaii citizens. You play a Steam Deck, oh yeah, LED, yeah, right. You got frickin' a couple $1,000 in graphics cards, and you play on a Steam Deck. Over here in London, it's 2.5 annual. Yep, that's absolutely true. That's frickin'. I got an old PC. I'm about to slap a 3050 in it. Shankarashan. Wow, I can't spell that last name. Mukapadia? Jeez, dude, I'm gonna try. That's about as far as I'm gonna get. I'll call you Shan. Shank? I'll call you Shan. I got 4 laptops for some reason. I've got 3. This one got bought for me I got a anonymous donor sent the channel $800 last year, and I got they sent a Cash App, so it just came right in, no 35% fees or whatever. And so this laptop right here, I'm running as a server. It's a Linux server on it. And I'm running Minecraft on that for the community. I got that for free. I mean, I was doing something. I charge people $20 an hour for anything. If I'm there for 5 minutes, it's $20. If I'm there for an hour, $20. If it's nothing, if it's skilled work, I change. Anyway. So she was like, do you want this? And I was like, I'll trade you. I'll take this laptop. And then so it's a Toshiba freaking satellite. How old are they? I mean, it's got 4 gigs of RAM. And I found a 2 gig stick and put in there, so it's got 6 gigs of RAM. I got a few G's in cameras and lenses too. Yeah, I used to have quite a bit. I try to keep minimal technology. Buying RAM just supports the surveillance state, setting up data centers. But hey, you gotta live while you're alive. Yeah, right. Yeah. So when I got this, it was before all that happened. I got a 16 gig stick. This came with 8 gigs, and I put a 16 gig stick in it, and I got everything for under $800. I got my cameras, my lights. My stands, my mic cables, my mixer, my laptop, all under $800. The laptop was unbelievable because it was like a $2,000 laptop that I got for $600. It was about $608. Because when Victus was making gaming laptops, the injection molded case on the bottom where the vents are was made so thin that it would break when kids pulled it in and out of backpacks. And then it would leave the motherboard exposed. So they had to sell that lot. And they sold it, and I was lucky. Negative 1,000 planter social score, yeah. I wonder what mine's at. I'm probably at like 0. But then again. And I don't know, I mean, maybe, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with okay, that says me in. All right. I don't know. I didn't get asked for ID on Discord. I don't know. I mean, I never put any ID in it or anything. So I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about it, but it hasn't asked me anything. It hasn't done anything. I hope we're talking about. I hope we are touching on the naughty list. Oh, we're definitely getting on the naughty list. I bought an Alienware in like 2015 for $1,700 and $800 in free shit from a sales rep. They hook you up when you. Yeah, dude, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, I've repaired. When I used to do repairs, I got so much, dude. I got this chick that she dumped a glass of red wine in her MacBook, and she was so freaked out. She went and bought another MacBook. And I just swapped the hard drives, and she went on her way, and she left it with me. I just doused it in rubbing alcohol, rinsed it all out, and booted right back up. Put another hard drive in it. Installed Mac OS X. Booted back up. Boom. Yeah, it's no problem. It's no problem. I don't even know if it died on her. As soon as she dumped it in there, she unplugged it and shut it off. And you can't unplug the battery out of it, so that could be a big problem. But yeah, it was Awesome. I'm on every list. Welcome. Yeah, right. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. I'm not doing anything. I don't give a shit. And I don't care anyway. It's like, listen, you need paranoia will screw you because it doesn't matter. It just makes you more like, it makes you more somebody to look at, you know? So it's like, yeah, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I'm going to beat them anyway. I'm going to beat them anyway. Do whatever they want. I need someone to at home lithography machine so I can make my own chips. Brother, you can now with fiber lasers and stuff, you can do a lot. You can grow your own, you know, if you know how to grow a layer on chips using those silicon oven, not silicon, quartz ovens. Yeah, dude, you can do a lot, but I mean, the problem is reliability. My grandfather was a lithographer, super cool stuff. Enchanter. Yeah, it's cool. I saw, let's see if I can find something here. I can't remember her name. It was this chick years ago, like 10 years ago on YouTube. Jean J something, JF. She had like a long, at-home microchips and probably at-home transistors. At-home transistors. Let me see. What was her name? Let me see if I can. Jerry Ellsworth. Here you go. This is old. What year?
So a bunch of nerds in 1947 put together.
Wow. Wait till you see this frickin'. Wait till you see this. This was 2010. This was 16 years ago, and she was growing her own.
It's in 1947.
This is the audio.
The first transistor.
Merry Easter, Scott, brother.
Let's see if we can do it some 50 years later in the Jerry Nerd Laboratory. This is a drawing of the first transistor.
I want rust-resistant steel plates to inscribe how I've actually learned history of future generations. Good idea. Long ago, not watching your live. How you doing? I ain't seen you in a long time. I've been really good, my friend. I'm up to like 2,100 subs. Doing good. Everything's going great. My freaking growth chart's going real quick.
Foil wrapped around it with a thin slit cut in it. Pressing against the
I forgot the alloy, but there's one that can last thousands of years in high humidity.
You can see a schematic representation of a bipolar.
Probably need nickel, zinc, or something like that. Chromium works really, really well, but you have to be away from a lot of chlorine. Chlorine could screw it up. I want to build and run simulations. You're already in one.
Still used today. See the resemblance? Before we can do the fun stuff like make transistors, we've got to get some of the semiconductor physics out of the way. In this project, we'll be using germanium for our semiconductor. In pure semiconductors, the electrical conductivity is very low due to the covalent bonds that tightly bind the electrons.
I've been having an exam, by the way. What did you discuss? Right now, we're talking about at-home transistors. Sometimes three numbers. L something, three numbers? What I meant? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I am here to create the God of the future, and the God of the future is affecting the timeline to be built fast. Talking to the God of the future. Oh, no, what I hit. Okay, here we go.
However, we can change the electrical properties by introducing impurities into the semiconductor, replacing some of the atoms.
Doping.
If we add an atom such as phosphorus, the conductivity will go up. This is due to free electrons that were not bound by covalent bonds.
So silicon is a semiconductor. So if you add phosphorus or boron, you can change the conductivity of it. Hive mind.
This is called N-type material. Another method is to choose an atom that does not complete all the covalent bonds and leaves vacancies, or holes. Current flows by electrons moving into holes and the holes moving through the crystal lattice. This is called P-type. We're going to harvest our semiconductor from this germanium diode. It's called a 1N34 cat whisker diode. It has a cat whisker of tungsten that pushes against a germanium block. See the resemblance in the electrical symbol? The germanium is already doped N-type. Before we move on to transistors, let's look at the diode, because mechanisms are going to be similar.
Yeah, it's always evil tries to devour good, and then when good overcomes evil, evil devours evil. The cancer eats itself, and then when the cancer gets small enough to blend in with the good, it slows down, and then it regrows slowly. You need a sofa? All right, let me see if we can find what
The it's interesting of the points are critical connectors. And a collector of the is my 45 between so oscillating in the right points.
Okay, this isn't the one. This isn't the one. Let me. I mean, I know she uploaded
so
like
a bunch of
thousands
nerds
of
in
videos.
1947 put together the first.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. I want to see if we can find the one where she cooked her own. Anyway, but yeah, she's got a lot of stuff.
Hi guys,
like there's her oven right there.
This is a demonstration of how I cleave 100 crystal orientation silicon wafers for my home.
And this is just on her desk.
Choosing the wafer parameters outside of the 100 orientation will be covered in another video. For this you'll need gloves, tweezers, an X-Acto knife or diamond scribe, Ziploc storage bags, and a soft surface such as clean room wipes or a rubber mat. 100 wafers have a crystal lattice line that runs perpendicular and parallel to the primary flat, or on larger wafers, the notch. We'll be taking advantage of the natural cleave direction to make squares or rectangular pieces that are smaller and easier to handle. Other wafer crystal orientations will break into triangular shapes.
This was 16 years ago. She's talking about how to make it home. She only got 77,000 views on this over 15 years. But she's making transistors at home.
Now gently nick the edge of the primary flat.
She's making transistors at home.
90 degrees from the primary flat. I prefer nicking the primary flat because it's very intuitive where the break will happen. Take 1/2 of the wafer and nick along the primary flat again to make a long, thin strip. Rotate the strip 90 degrees and cleave smaller rectangles or squares. Rinse each piece, preferably with deionized water, and store 1 per Ziploc bag to prevent scratches. Don't forget to mark the wafer parameters in the bag. It can be difficult and inconvenient to determine the type later on.
Difficult and inconvenient. Yeah. She donated $100 to get her name sprayed, painted on the wall. She wanted her own wall, and then she shared it a little bit. Brianna donated some money too. I think Sandra did too, but she wasn't here when we did it. But whenever she's ready. What up, Baxter? The flower of life. Oops. Oh no. Okay, so that was just cleaving. Damn it. So this is her using hydrofluoric acid at home to etch it, and then she's testing her homebrew. So here she's testing them.
This is a small piece of silicon wafer that I've attached.
She grew her own. She grew her own wafers. She did the lithography. I mean, they're just single transistors. Like so there's not a billion in there, but she made her own, and she's testing it right here.
Around the edge. I've diffused it.
I mean, definitely very shitty resolution back then. I mean, I think this was probably, let's see what the resolution is. It's got to be maybe less than 360.
You can see small wires running up that will make contact.
Going home to 1 a.m. New geometry, 3D life explains well with origami.
I'm going to mix up some silver.
We'll look into that too. I'll show you guys some stuff.
Blobs where the contacts need to be, and once it's cured.
So she's just gluing them on rather than using gold bonding. She's using conductive glue. She probably mixed silver with some sort of, any kind of damn it, what's it called? I can't remember the term for an adhesive. Well, an adhesive, but it's an adhesive that damn it, what's it called? A converted adhesive? Anyway, an adhesive with silver in it, so when it dries, it has a bunch of silver, so it's conductive. So she just...
good contact. To the left is the substrate, and its source, gate, and drain to the right.
Why all these smarty F with it? Why? What do you mean? Oh, she didn't show it. It's a 35-second video.
Hi guys, I'm Jerry Ellsworth, and this is a demonstration of how I cleave 100 crystal orientation silicon wafers for my home chip lab. Choosing the wafer parameters outside of...
Dude, I used to be, I am subscribed to her. You see, I've subscribed for years. Yeah, I remember she worked with China to make like an at-home FPGA, I want to say it was like Atari or Commodore 64 that had like 1,000 games in one controller, and they took all the capacitors off, and they said, "Hey, we're making them here in China, and nothing works." They flew her out to China. She grabbed the circuit board. She said, "You took off all the freaking bypass capacitors." And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna save money." But yeah, so they flew her all the way out there because, and it's part of their karmic debt feather. I'm very familiar. Looked like a mini welder. Yeah, it does. It does. It does look like a mini welder. That's just glue though. But she's got a lot of really cool stuff. She's got a lot of pinball machines too. And she fabricates race cars. Look at this.
Hi. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of quarter-mile dirt track racing and the technology.
I'm a huge fan of quarter-mile dirt track racing. So she can make enough money on her own back then. Back then, YouTube used to pay like $7 per 1,000 views, not like the $3 they pay now. Yes, sir.
Clean the next area.
You're talking about welding, John. And she does a lot. She's prepping, she's preheating, getting ready to weld, and then throwing some MIG lines down.
Suspension components hook in.
Beads.
There's idler arms. There's the gearbox on the other side. Here I'm working on the gearbox. Oh, warning, plumber crack. There's also shock towers. I'm not sure if I'm going to show it here in the video, but those get welded also. The A-arms hook to those and the shocks hook to them.
But this is what YouTube was like 15 years ago. People just set up a camera and recorded a bunch of stuff. That's basically what I'm doing now, right?
Very smelly, stinky process. So here I'm measuring the bar that's going to brace up the two front frame horns. It's pretty important to brace up the front frame horns since your suspension ties into there and can deflect.
Look at that big ass welder she's got.
Measure twice.
Everything you do with Portal very action found predetermined outcomes. What up, Loretta?
Probably not the right procedure to do that, but it works.
Yeah, it works.
Relieving one side with the plasma cutter so I can slip the.
She got a plasma cutter and a freaking welder.
I also had to cut some semicircles.
I wonder what she have to say today. I bet you she's got a laser cutter too. I haven't seen anything from her. I don't think the last time she posted. She was used to post like all the time. She was one of the first electrical engineers that I followed. Let me see. Oh, 2 years ago. Wow, just once every 2 years. 2 years ago, she did 2, then 4 years, then 6, then 7, 7, 7, 7, 8. Wow. Wow. With suitcase welder? Yeah, I just gave mine to my brother yesterday. Yeah, plasma cutter's awesome. Metaphysics, who knows? Intuition tells you what matters. Right, intuition is very, very powerful, but we teach kids these days that knowledge is learned in school, and then it's not taught intuitively. In your own universe. All right, let me see. What was I doing? Okay, let's look at Loretta's stuff. Let's look at Loretta's artwork. Always a good time. Let's see. That's not her. That's not me. There we go. That's me. You said a bunch of stuff. Oh, yesterday. Okay. Broom Bayou. Oh, shit. Hey, there we go. Bam. Good pencil work, man. I was never very good at shading like that. Nice, 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 nice. Oh, nice. Oh, let me rotate it. Transform, rotate counterclockwise. There you go. Nice. You need to put some scratch marks on the book. What up, Georgie? It's sad. Spartan and Prussian bastards. Frank. All right, one more. Okay, let me take a minute. Let me see my turns around. All right, back. Uh-oh. Close your eyes, man. Transform clockwise. No. There we go. What up, girls? Nice. That's really good work. Really good work, Loretta. That look really good. Well, you did good work. It's freaking not hard to enjoy when they're good. Okay. Youth on the air. Oh, she's still working on this too.
Hi, I'm Jerry Ellsworth. It's a great honor that I get to speak to you today for Youth on the Air. The reason for that is because ham radio operators have played such a critical role in my life. Ever since I was a young kid, I loved working with technology, anything science, rockets, chemistry, computers, video games, radios. However, I lived in this really small community in rural Oregon where I had very little opportunity to actually get my hands on these pieces of technology. Fortunately for me, there were some ham radio operators in the area that took me under their wing and taught me how to do things like soldering, work with test equipment, work with computers, communicate on radios. And that really set me on a path to do some really exciting things throughout my career and my life. In my teen years, I was very interested in racing cars. And so I went out and I found some other mentors to help teach me how to weld and machine and actually build these big V8 powered cars. But the ham radio operators were always there supporting me. I wanted to add electronics to these cars to make them better, things like telemetry and traction control systems. And so I became quite accomplished, thanks to them, in racing. In my 20s, I decided to open a chain of retail computer stores, and thankfully, I had all this experience with working with computers and electronics, but I didn't know how to run a business. So more mentors. I found some folks to teach me how to run a business, and my computer store business was quite successful. In my 30s, I wanted to break into building consumer electronic products, and so I moved to Silicon Valley, started meeting people and getting more mentors and people helping me. Working in technology, you find that there's a lot of ham radio operators, and many of my mentors that have helped me since I moved to Silicon Valley are ham radio operators as well. And so throughout my career doing consumer products, I got to do some really exciting things. Like I got to design half a dozen toys.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there it is. That's what I was talking about earlier. The C64, Commodore 64, all in one. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. She's awesome. We know she's awesome. Okay, what did I miss? Okay, let's set this up. All right, what you got me looking for? Freaking Earth. Wave equation, a second order linear partial differential equation. Freaking wackadoodle. Even changes intuition is a better guide in my opinion. I agree, 100%. Listen, the people that intuitively created the school system, into the knowledge for the school system, the written knowledge, they created the knowledge. They created it. We just learn what they got intuitively. Right? And that's the problem is we tell people when they get their degree, they've got the education, and it's a lie. My wave collapse is questionable. Darwin, Einstein, fast track through scientific community era push. Right. Because it was profitable. And there was an anti-God movement going. And then anything like Einstein was pushing the atheist possibility, even though he was an agnostic until he met Hubble, which showed him, because remember, Einstein came up with the cosmological constant to say why the universe always has been. So therefore, it did not need a creator. But then he met Hubble and he found out that everything's expanding, which means inversely everything came from one individual point. That's where the Big Bang started. But that's when he became a creationist. But yeah, all the science back then and evolution wanted to prove that there was no need for a God. And so all of these people are trying to be like, look, with enough money and enough science, we'll prove there's no God. Okay, but what does that do for society? Some people need God, right? They absolutely do. They don't, right? It's basic superposition. Superposition is out of my league. We all have our own amplitude. Please play the girl's voice again. It reads our comments we tag. I can probably do that. Please do it. It was much fun yesterday. I can do it when you're not processing the wave. It's not happening. Yeah, there's a lot of very interesting research being done on how our bodies are basically saltwater antennas. And we all have our own shape and form, which means we pick up that frequency. You know how antenna shape works. If you're broadcasting something with a particular polarization and whatnot, and at a particular wavelength, the antenna size for capturing that matters, and the antenna shape. So we're basically, that's another theory though, obviously, but kind of leads to simulation theory. Yep, nefarious. Now do it. Nope. You can see it's an open question. The God questions are circular and unyielding. Right, so people should make their decision from history and then stop fighting about it. Was Hubble the one who gave the alternate theory of the Big Bang? No, he's the one. Hubble had a 100-inch telescope back in the day, and he photographed very large sections, very small sections, but very large sections of the sky with negatives back in those days. So when you put two negatives of the same spot on top of each other, he saw that everything's moving apart from themselves. So that was the first proof of a theory of the scientific creation, or that saying that we either blow up, expand, and then we start reversing and we come back. So that's called the cyclical universe theory, or cyclical universe hypothesis. So I mean, because obviously we don't live long enough to know whether the universe gets really big and then collapses and then gets really big and then collapses. We don't know. All right, I'm gonna be on the naughty list. Even though Darwin was a deist, he was wrong. Mutation, right? He's way wrong. And the thing is, he took something small, like how humans can lift weights and their muscles get big, and because the finch beaks adapted over time, like he said that was genetic. But he also said he would be wrong if a cell was not the smallest building block of matter. And he didn't know. He didn't know about DNA. He thought the cell was a globule of gelatinous protoplasm. And he even wrote that his theory would be incorrect if there was something more complicated than the cell. And obviously there was. I love movie night. Why that foil paper helmet to reduce microwave radiation became related to Alienware in movies. So tinfoil hat theory, what was when radio became a thing during World War I and II, mainly II, people were told they'd get cooked. We learned about radio because a guy was doing experiments with it. He had a chocolate bar in his pocket, and he stood in front of the transmitter, and the chocolate bar melted. So then he created the microwave oven, well, the technology microwave oven, but this was being used for communications. But the tinfoil hat was that, like, people saying that the government can read your mind with that. No, I don't. Not the foil hat usually makes it worse depending on the shape. Right. It can bounce it back in. Because remember, you've got radiation coming from below also. It's bouncing off, so it can bounce it back in. It's basically a bowl. So, if it's coming from this way, it can bounce back in and through. And the atomists are just as bad. Yeah, they're all bad. They're all liars. They're all deceptive. And that's the problem, is there's so much deception in science because it's so easy to deceive people. And you can get away with it when you get caught. Well, we didn't have that data. We didn't have that data back then. So it was just the best that we could know. But you lied. You lied about it. You said that this was the definitive proof. And it's not. Because you want to be able to sell it. You want to be able to sell courses. You want to be able to sell textbooks to millions and millions of students. Superposition is basically if you're not conscious, none happens, leads to waveform. The signals come from us, not towers. Those are just weapons. They are weapons, absolutely. Let's see. I'm not on my phone, so let me see if I can do it from here. Hold on. That was from my phone earlier. I think I can still do it here. All right, let's see if that works. All right, when you don't look about look, the wireless body antenna network. Right, yeah, right. That's what I was just saying. There's a lot of evidence about EMF being very harmful. My brother's IEEE, such a pain to talk to. He asked if I knew about mesh. I walked outside. Duh. Nefarious. Uh-oh. Okay, I see why it's not working. Okay, there you go. Now it should work. It's always
about the money, everything comes down to money, sleeping, and other selfish shit.
Power.
Their dual purpose, to be fair, same with the shot nano. The LL claim it's for medicine and it can be used
Yeah,
for that.
right.
I love EMF. My money is seconds to power. XD.
Yeah, money's second to power, yeah. Yeah. Because with power comes money, so it doesn't matter, right?
The 2050 mega regions 2030 is already deployed, so it's
Yeah, right. And the 1990s was a delay decade. Everything that was developed during the 1990s, like we released in 1990, and the stuff that would have been released in 1991 got released in 2001. So everything was behind 10 years. So stuff that's being released now was developed 10 years ago at a minimum. Look, if you really want to get into that, if you even want to get into that, look up the 1973 Weather Modification Act. There was so many companies and people modifying the weather.
in my school worries about attaining power.
There was so
I don't know why nobody in my school worries.
There was so many people modifying the weather back in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s that the government had to step in and say, we're going to charge you $25,000 if you modify the weather without telling us. And then guess what got really big? The weather stations and the weathermen and weather, because they could say, hey, this is happening then, because they could make it happen then in certain situations. Like there's this happened in 1994. This is really cool. This used to be allowed out on regular. Now they don't. Nobody talks about cloud generation engines.
They even had to move 5 cemeteries.
This was in like 94.
Because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead.
So this is a rocket engine, but it's just mounted to the ground. So it's hydrogen and oxygen, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, and when it's blasted together and lit, it combines and turns into a cloud, water vapor. So you get very little bits of hydrogen and oxygen, and you make huge ass clouds, and then you can seed the clouds using silver compounds. I use it. I've got it right here.
The loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest. That cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet. It's raining! That's unbelievable!
Okay. Maybe I don't. I'll have to find it. It's probably in the kitchen. I've got a big bottle of DMSO. You can get it for veterinary uses, and I've got a lot of things I have DMSO in it. My vitamins, my vitamin D, my liquid, it absorbs through the skin. It uses DMSO to absorb through the skin. That's D3, and then the K2 MK4 is also got DMSO in it. But yeah, we could talk about that. Okay, so this, right, and then you have I'm gonna turn that speech thing off. It's too hard to talk past. 1973 Weather Modification Bill. The 93rd Congress, right here, congress.gov. Congress.gov, the 93rd Congress, the Weather Modification Regulation Act. And it's out there, and people say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, good. Okay, think what you want. Operation Popeye. They created monsoons, Vietnam. Yep. Right, that was right. So the technology that was created for things like the Vietnam War was created by companies or people that created technology that sold it to the government, and now people have this available technology. So they're saying, don't do that in America, unless we tell you to. Could have been cloud seeding has been around forever. Yeah, dude. Yeah, in the 1800s, people used to go around with bottle rockets, basically. But instead of blowing up to be beautiful colors, they don't ignite. They were just the same silver salts. So they would aim the bottle rockets towards clouds, and then poof, and that dust, the same stuff that they spray now. And I've been LBJ voting for 13, and it's hard. It's Coca territory, so what in Texas? Big ass sparkler. I knew about the cloud stuff years ago. Here you go. I know what happened. I started drinking lots of lemonade. What will happen if I start? I mean, depends on the amount of sugar. But yeah, the acid can be rough for your teeth unless you take a lot of vitamin K too. How familiar are with Hope? How similar we are. I hope you have your setup in a decade. Dude, if you knew what the government, I'm going to tell you what the government's going to do. This, guys, make sure you listen. And that should be it. 1964, Kennedy Galaxy, your health provider, sovereign to everybody. Yep. If it's Minute Maid, yes, don't drink Minute Maid. Make homemade. Listen, you can make homemade very, very, very easily. Very, very, very easily. Make homemade lemonade. Do not, if you have to buy Minute Maid, don't drink lemonade. Wait until you can get lemons in your area, and then enjoy it when you can have it, and don't when you can't. They got them. Lemons are great for you. Thick skin, tropical fruits, resistant absorbing toxins. That's correct. I grow my own in pots, so you don't have to grow huge lemon trees. You can grow them, and it's free. I drag them outside when it's raining, and I move them inside when it's freezing. And I don't pay nothing for them. The buckets were free. You cut out when you said, "Listen, I did it on purpose." Yeah, I did it on purpose. I think it's funny. Like, people used to ask, they're like, who's your favorite mod? Who's your favorite? And I'd be like, oh, you know who's the most beautiful girl in here? It's... sorry, I'm funny. And I tell you what, I've got, I know it's hard to see with this camera. I've got, on both of these fingers right here, that's hard to see. I've got, you can see the red, but it's poison ivy. And so I've got silver. It's just silver and water. It's 2 ingredients, and it doesn't. When it was itching, you just spray it once on each finger, well, twice, two spurts on each finger, and then you'll be fine. You're fine. You don't got to put all kinds of wackadoodle stuff on it. Jesus died for you so we could live, my friend. Thank you, Lux, buddy. Thank you, my friend. McFly. I don't watch anybody, brother. Way back in the day, I watched what's his face, Ninja. But that's about, and then like what's his face, Asmongold. But I haven't really watched anybody since then. I mean, if I could watch a stream, I just start streaming. Think, McFly, think. You electrify? No, what? The copper? I mean, the silver? No. I didn't make it. I buy it. There's a company called Sovereign Silver, and I had a sinus infection, so they've got a silver with a sinus infection applicator, because silver kills infection, and so and you're good to go. And you ain't putting nothing else in you that don't need to be there. How are your fingers? Itchy for life? No, they don't itch. They don't itch at all now. I got a sherp and a warp. I got a sherp? What's a sherp? And a warp and orange. What's going on? Crying with face cream? You a chicken, McFly? What up, fat bong, brother? Not staying long. Work. All right, my brother. All right, I might drink it. Yeah, lemon water is great. You can add some sugar to it, and brown sugar is better than white sugar. Remember, sugar should have the molasses in it that comes out. That comes with it. So brown sugar is better for you overall than white sugar, and it doesn't really change the flavor. It's still good, right? Still sugar, still sweet. Asman is paid up by the deep state. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch him now. I mean, if he pops up while I'm, I'll but I don't watch him for gaming anymore. Right? Yeah. It's good stuff. That oregano, quercetin. Not oregano. I mean, I take quercetin and bromelain. I take oregano also. I take oregano oil also. Silver and copper. Yep, naturally antibacterial. That's exactly right. I heard dry air is best for reoccurring sinus air conditions. Ruin it. Yep. Dry. You want to if you dry out your, but it's bad to have dry. The mucus is your filter system. So there's a reason gold and silver are very profitable. They've always been like the reason kings and queens lasted longer than the peasants is because they would eat with silver. So if there was bacteria and stuff in their food from it being old, not cooked properly, the silver spoons would take care of it to a certain extent. Greetings from Australia. What up, Space Sylvian? How are you, my brother? Being vegan is versus being gay. They're basically the same. Yeah, I got a lot of honey also. Yeah, agave. That's great for content. I don't really screw with it. I don't really mess with agave. I'm growing some, but yeah. Aspen gold is a specimen of a human. Brother lives in a literal landfill of a house. Yep. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah. Yeah, he's also super freaking rich. So I guess instead of cleaning his house, he was streaming and making content, right? I mean, he could definitely pay to have it clean. He just doesn't care. Listen, there's something to be said for people that are comfortable in their own surroundings, right? I mean, it's disgusting to some, but I guess he doesn't care about it. He doesn't care about it. I've worked while having a sinus infection, stood over a flat top the entire shift, and boom, I could breathe. It's probably from the oils from the spices and stuff too. Copper and silver doorknobs. Yeah, they did that too. Yeah. Yeah, gays are fine, vegans are not. Yeah, I would agree with that too. Vegans have really bad problems, especially the vegan activists, like the vegan teacher chick, whatever. Dude, she is freaking horrid to people. I don't think being vegan is bad unless you're preachy. It's bad for you. And if you're not growing your own food or going to a farmer's market, if you're going to the grocery store for your vegan, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself, 100%. I hear that's just his set. I hear it's immaculately out of frame. Right? We got no idea, right? Like, yeah, it probably is. If they eat mussels, they can get by. Yeah, you got to be a pescatarian if you're going to be that way. But vegans are screwed, especially if they don't eat eggs. They're not getting B12 anyway in their body. I heard Einstein hated to wear socks, but never heard. I get hit up by dudes a lot, so I tell them no. Yeah. Even just growing plants, you'll suffer, brother. I've got probably 300 plants in and outside of my house. Oh, you know a guy that knew him? Hey, I mean, listen. Think about the people that just rage, that just say he's so freaking disgusting. And that's just so it worked. Anything that makes you different than the rest will get you popularity. And it's worked for him. Vegans get super temperamental because they don't get amino acids. Right. They're sick. This is why they're so mad all the time. Yeah. She's definitely nuts. And she's pissed that people won't listen to her. Well, you're an asshole. I refuse to believe that if you're comfortable enough to stream and film publicly, you definitely live to an extent. But what's wrong with that? Who cares? That's him, dude. He can do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. My set isn't very kick-ass. I got an unmade bed behind me, It's like I got freaking vitamins and pills all around me. But he eats and drinks. He orders his food, so we got food wrappers and stuff around him. Thus I want your setup. I've left full setups twice. Vegans usually have toxoplasmosis gondii, right? I killed 10 weed plants one time. Jeez, what'd you try to do? Plants produce defensive chemicals that they can't run in the. That's right. That's right. So that's why you shouldn't be eating them. You should not be eating leaves. Just because some freaking company, some government convinced you that if you put ranch on it, it's okay to eat leaves. No, that's how the fruits and vegetables are made. You don't eat that shit. It's toxic. And everything that's sprayed on them so bugs don't eat them too. It's horrible. Because it doesn't get washed off, it gets absorbed in. And it's all that. The past couple years that's been coming out, but yeah, it's not hard. And because it's not hard if you get yourself tested for compounds and then you say, wow, that's in me and shouldn't be. But we wait for the couple hundred people to get sick and be like, oh, we found a bunch of Roundup in their bloodstream. Have you ever had your blood tested? No. I have. It's $50. It's $50. People from countryside. And the thing is, and look. And if anybody wants a discount, let me know. Bioanalysis. I know it's hard to read, but mineral analysis, steroid analysis, thyroid analysis, but this is what you should be getting at least once a year. $50. Calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, copper, zinc, phosphorus, iron, manganese, chromium, selenium, boron, cobalt, molybdenum, sulfur, antimony, uranium, arsenic, beryllium, mercury, cadmium, lead, aluminum, germanium, barium, bismuth, rubidium, lithium, nickel, platinum, thallium, vanadium, strontium, tin, titanium, and zirconium. And that's $50. And it'll let you know where you're at. Also, calcium, sodium, vitamin K, zinc, what the hell is that? I can't remember what it's called. See, it was copper, calcium, phosphorus, nickel, sodium, calcium, sodium, zinc, copper, sodium, magnesium, calcium, magnesium, and iron, copper. And those are ratios. And those get thrown off when you don't have proper wackadoo. So you need to freaking fix your shit, people. I was just farming. I'm not arguably against it. However, living in active roaches is not healthy. He's a grown man. He's detrimental to mental. But it's detrimental to mental and physically unhealthy. Yeah. I agree. Tell him to clean his room. Right? Listen, look, and how many people in how many other live streams do you think are also talking about him? So it works for the marketing. It absolutely does. That's his brand, and he's a freaking multi-millionaire. I've seen some of his pay off of Twitch, and it's like $60,000 a stream. So people, think about it. So there's probably a lot of people in this stream that will watch this stream after it goes up that have never even heard of him or heard of him, never looked. But now they hear this, they're going to go and be like, oh my gosh. All right? It works. It works for him. And look, he's only 30. He can clean up when he gets married. I'm sure it'll be different. And he's living in in the house that he grew up in with his mom and his dad. So he didn't even buy his own house yet. Right? So he's not spending any money. That's all going in. That's all. He's banking all of this. Almost like they're conscious. Leaf eaters. Plants are survival food if you grow them yourself. Right. What I see, what up, Brian? What I see is the human body should be eating meat. If you don't have meat, like if you were out in nature, didn't have a house, you're just out there fighting, you get meat whenever you can to get full nutrition. The time between catching meat meals, you're able to sustain yourself on vegetation, but not thrive. Not thrive. You need high levels of B12 to thrive, and you're not getting that from vegetation. Ideal is crop. Ideal is lay cropped pasture with the largest animals you can run. Ideal. Right. You can outrun. Send them tree huggers. They need to be locked up. $50. would be here where I would be doing it weekly. It's $50. Yeah, I mean, I do it weekly, but do it yearly. Or I mean, I do it quarterly. But what do you think about Polaroid shirtless analysis? I don't even know what that. I know what Polaroids are. A shirtless analysis of who? This bioanalysis. They test your body, your blood, your fingernails, toenails. You can send in a bunch of different stuff. You can send in hair, fingernails, toenails. There's all kinds of stuff you can send in, and they tell you what's going on in your body. Yeah. What do you know? What about a hormones test for drinking water? You get a plug for that? I don't know about hormones, but no, not water tests. I can get. This is the company that I and my family use, and I get like, I think you guys get a 10% discount, and I get like 10%. But whatever. I mean, I find your own. I mean, but this is the best one, the cheapest one. That's why we were using it previously. Tennis racket is essential for roaches and diatomaceous earth. Yeah, it's good though. 600 acres. Yep. If I could, I would. Mushrooms have even more protein, but that's because they're eating everything literally decomposed. Right. Yeah. They're super beings. I mean, why can't one just live minimally and just have furniture, less stuff in your house? You're make it invest bare minimum furniture. Yes, you can. You can. Listen, influencers are there to make you feel bad about the way you're living so that you'll spend more money. They're getting paid by companies to influence people to spend. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like Asmongold, and they do like other people that have huge freaking sets, have freaking race cars or luxury cars and stuff like that. And he's just like, do whatever, sit in your own filth, and wear black shirts all day. Don't go crazy colors and designs. Yeah, that's fine. That's what I mean. Whatever. Like, I don't buy shit. Like this shirt was given to me on the movie set. This was for building a movie set. Wild meat and nutritious high rotational grace meats build strength. Polaroid are extremely high resolution. People do analysis of health. Oh yeah, never heard about the nutrition analysis from Polaroids. I hear it's for making the frogs gay. One day closer to the rapture. Thank you, Brad, brother, Jesus King. Yeah. I mean, I don't sit there and watch him for hours, but I see his shorts and his clips come up. I watch I like to see I don't get into the drama between him and freaking, what's the guy's name? The Turkish guy or whatever he's from. What's his name? The guy, I can't remember his name. But he's another Twitch streamer. I can't remember his name. You guys will probably remember who he is. The guy that him and Asmongold fight all the time. Kings were better than republics. In my opinion, at least you know who to blame and the elite were. No, I agree. Hassan Piker. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I would have no problem with a king. I would have no problem with a good king. And who would? Who would have a problem with a good king? Right? No one would. No one would have a problem with a good king. It's when kings are assholes. It's when Republicans are assholes or Democrats are assholes. That's when it's bad. It doesn't matter. If we had a king and we knew the rules of the game, the problem is they're always changing the rules of the game to benefit themselves and to hurt us. Asmongold, I see, loves to talk politics. Yeah. Do you ever get tired? So much energy, Uncle Brother. I do. I get tired around 9 or 10 p.m. I tell you, methylcobalamin. Like, there you go. It's the B12. Nobody wants to bug up the party. Yep, that's true. And then their sons will come up and ruin everything. Jesus will rule the earth for 1,000 years after the Battle of Armageddon. May it come soon. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. B12 and fatigue. Deficiency. So, low vitamin B12 causes fatigue by reducing healthy red blood cell production, leading to oxygen-starved tissues and persistent exhaustion. Symptoms include extreme tiredness, weakness, brain fog. It's commonly caused by poor dietary intake. Vegans and vegetarians. Okay, absorption issues, aging, medication, digestive diseases, smoking weed, drinking liquor, and is treated with supplements or injections. Right, so that's it. Your whole body needs B12, and you need a lot of it to thrive. The government says 2.4 micrograms a day. That's to keep you breathing, to keep you alive, but not the best you can be. You can definitely take a lot. I take 200,000% the daily recommended for B12. I didn't take it today. That's why my brain's foggy a little bit. But I took 200,000% yesterday. I don't have any left, so it should have showed up. Today. It's probably sitting on the front porch, and they got lied to like Lewis, and then blamed, like King Louis. Yep, that's the way it works. Dad, you run the kingdom, Dad. Reindeer farmers, lizard hunters, buffalo hunters, Eskimo, all of them dominated their regions. China didn't conquer the Mongols. Yep, and they ate freaking meat. They didn't say, can you go find me a head of lettuce and some ranch dressing? They didn't do that. Remember, food is energy, but not all food is energy. Energy is in food, but not all food. So people think, as long as I eat enough. No, you can eat very little if you're getting enough nutrition. The reason you're hungry is because you're not healthy. I don't even think I ate today. Hold on. Did I eat today? No, I did not eat yet today. No, I've been driving around with you guys. I've been streaming all the time. I haven't eaten anything today. I had 2 cups of coffee. So I eat around between 2:30 and 4:30, but I haven't eaten anything today. How strong was Baldwin V? I don't know. What up, Katra? I heard Jerusalem was beautiful. Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's freaking. They write a big ass book about it. Let's look at it. Let's look. The Beauty of Jerusalem. No way. There's a movie called The Beauty Queen of Jerusalem. When did that come out? A House Cleaner from Jerusalem in 1919. When did this come out? Oh, it's Netflix. 2020. I've never heard of it. Agricultural makes people weak, but supports an elite class. Right. Think about how much food you can make with land to feed how many people. And they throw away the stuff that isn't perfectly pretty, and they spray a bunch of shit on it that makes it so that they can get more of the pretty stuff. And we eat it, and we think, as long as you eat 1 per day. What are we eating? 1 person? 1 Mongol? I missed the other one. I looked at my sister's contact yesterday because a friend was asking about her. I don't usually pull it up, but it said she was in the Dominican Republic, so I assumed it was her international number. Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, it just goes by the first digit or 2 digits of the country code. Yeah, fruit isn't cheap. No. She really is in the Dominican Republic. Found out today from my dad. Your sister didn't tell you she was going to the Dominican Republic? I heard that the Black Death caused such a gigantic pandemic that it almost wiped out the whole Mongolian Empire. Jerusalem, God must be. Jerusalem just means house of God, where the multiple Jerusalems, Moscow, Istanbul, etc. It does mean house of God, yes. Yeah, it looks pretty freaking kick-ass to me. That's freaking Kaaba, isn't it? No, it's not the Kaaba. Yeah, it looks pretty freaking cool. You don't ever have to mow the grass, that's for sure. Yeah, we're all whacking. You're all whacking. Well, I prefer only 1 person myself. Yeah, which was that? Like geek, okay, girl. When were you gonna tell me? I didn't even know she's there. Like, or maybe spring break. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. She didn't tell you that she's going to freaking the Dominican Republic. Yeah, the book on Jerusalem, the Holy Grail. It was a whole other beautiful book, but long. Yeah, it's book. That's very beautiful. And think about it. Think about America with all our freaking cardboard houses and stuff. Like this stuff. Like these things are built to last. I'm sure there's a ghetto somewhere too, you know? I'm sure there's absolute, just like everywhere. Wow, but it is freaking beautiful. Look at that. That's freaking so awesome. Well, she was there for only like a week. She spent 6 months in South America last year. I think Istanbul, Constantinople was Jerusalem. The paintings show Christ crucified on the Bosphorus. It could have been Androkonos. I see that the problem with history sometimes so much is even the reader gets confused and can't stop thinking over what's right. The problem with history is it's rewritten all the time. So, like, if you read a history book that you got in school this year, it's what they wanted you to learn about how the world worked. But then if you go to study history outside of school, you learn a lot more from different places. That's why it's good to read the oldest books that you can read. The oldest books. Even if you're not religious, you should read the Bible. 100%. Absolutely. Like, if you're reading Harry Potter and shit, and you won't read the Bible because it's a bunch of fairy tales, you got your priorities. It teaches you about, and there's a lot of extra biblical data on what happened and when that goes along with what happened. And I'm talking about the people stuff, the wars, the conquering, how people treat people, acting, how politicians act, and what goes on. It teaches you a lot about people and politics. Absolutely. Even if you don't understand what's going on, it's 66 books. So you can read one book a month for the next freaking 5 years. And her summer job last year involved field work. It's 90% of the time. I didn't even know she was usually in Missouri or Illinois. I guess you don't talk to her daily. I don't talk to my brother daily. I talk to my brother like weekly. The blue mosque fits the temple Jupiter across from Hagia Sophia. So in Jerusalem was nothing back then. Yeah, like when Jesus was young and stuff. Yeah, Harry Potter are good books, man. I'm not reading that shit twice. I thought of reading something I could force myself, but it didn't work. Well, that's the thing. People grab a Bible and they say, "Oh God, yeah." Well, you can just say, "Okay," because it's not a book like Harry Potter. You know, you can just read John or just read Mark or just read philosophies. Wow, I can't speak. Archaeology. Oh, wow. Man, my brain. Wow. If you can find stuff from 14 to 1500 on the Internet Archives, all translated through Vatican monks. Yeah. Ecclesiastes. Oh, jeez. Ecclesiastes. Easy as the keys. Bible, Ecclesiastes. Jeez, man. Ecclesiastes. Jeez. Man. Holy crap.
Ecclesiastes.
Jeez.
Ecclesiastes.
Say it slower, baby.
Ecclesiastes.
Thank you. He said, I'm great at reading. That's the thing. I have incredible comprehension. It's fixing myself to sit still and read the words and want to read them. The issue graphic novel versions of the Bible. There's a lot of graphic novel versions. Absolutely. 100%. Lots. Tens of thousands of different graphic novel versions. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I started on back in the day. It's hard to pronounce those on purpose. I agree. Most of his bullshit like race or Roman history. Yeah, but it's history. That's the thing, right? It's history, but it shows you about deception. That's the most important thing you can learn, because people will say all the time, like, it's in the Bible, dude. It's in the Bible that you got to give me all your money, and it's not in the Bible. But people will say that, and you'll be like, okay, because you're not going to read it, all right? Yeah. And the thing is, if people, and this is how you can tell deception, because it's living with people that say that they're biblical, you can find out if they're telling the truth or not. Because if they're doing something that's not biblical, they're liars. So it's good to find people that aren't liars. Fantasies are amazing. What you're talking about, but the thing with me is I read a fantasy book and make 2 pages before I start coming up with my own stories in my head. Yeah. Understood. I do that too. Yeah. Anyone else remember Holy Moly? Yeah, I used to say that all the time too. Holy moly. What exactly from 14 and 1500? That's old. Yes, that's old. Yeah. 19. Yes, it's a big hint. One who convenes an assembly. That's what Ecclesiastes means. Lots of transcripts from the time, covenant, trade, manifest, etc. A lot, 100,000 or more at least. A lot of stuff, and a lot of people train themselves on it. And governments are created on it. So it's good to know. If you want to know the rules of this game of life we're playing, read it. No, holy moly, were videos that would watch in church in the kids program. Let me find it. No, I never heard of that. I didn't go to church much. Maybe when I was baptized. The great book of the Bible. What up, truth, brother? Holy moly was Robin's go-to. What up, bro? Okay, let's see. Oh, what's Wackadoo got for us? All right, let's see. Yeah. It's probably copyrighted. I'm not watching that half hour right now, that's for sure. Oh, I never seen this. Never seen it. Oh. Come on. Jeez. I should really take some time and figure out how to work this freaking stream and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely copyrighted. Guarantee it. Yeah, comments are turned off too. It's probably all the Satanists. Yes, sir. Except this is a must for modern version. Didn't have color. Mel Fisher, I heard, spent 16 years trying to find the treasure. Brother, a lot of people do. A lot of people still do. Still to this day. Oops. Well, I'm not gonna watch it. We're just gonna look through it.
The forbidden.
Yeah, we're definitely not watching it.
No muffin.
Yeah, we're definitely that. Richard, the mute button is amazing. There's not really much. It's not the sound, it's the video. You can't play. It's not just audio that's copyrighted. The video is copyrighted also. 800 years, zero of innovation. Yeah. It's not just the audio. It's just Richard, the mute button's a saying. No. Like a movie is copyrighted. We can't play the movie and just watch the film. No, it's all copyrighted. That's me. Look at the nose on this guy. 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 Jesus was young and stuff. Yeah, but holy moly was peak. All right, where are we at? Oh, what is this? What is this? The Weather Modification Act. Why would we have one of them? Wasn't the Noah the real story? Wasn't that Noah the real story? So here's the awesome thing about Noah's Ark. So apparently we found the Ark in Turkey, and what's the name of the place? The temples in Turkey that's got all the animals carved in. That was thousands of years ago. So the theory is, the scientific theory, because if you hear a lot of stuff in school that they're not allowed to tell you anything. Like there's a lot of science that studies biblical science, and there's a lot of science that doesn't. And because the separation of church and state, and you can't teach religion, well, Christian religion, in schools anymore, they don't tell you any of that. So there's agnostic or atheist theories, and that's what you get taught. But yeah, there's a lot. Like they found a bunch of stuff. What's the name of the place? They said what's this Joe Rogan shit? Whatever they say, people make shorts of it. Yeah, he does a lot. Jesus was dope. Bible's not so much. The way to claim to be God besides are all God. Can't believe it. They fired 3 generals. Brother, that's it, dude. You gotta stay off that stuff, dude. Yeah, why not, dude? Why not? You know, yeah, it'll drive you crazy. Dude. It'll drive you crazy. And nothing we do is going to matter about that. They're going to do what they want, brother. I understand. I prefer to be happy. The only holy moly was black and white, and people were baptized and they turned into color. Mount Ararat, not Mount Ararat, but if the ice caps melted, it would flood the earth, right? And then as And there's also a big thing about tectonic movement that would collapse some of the Mount Mariana Trench, which would cause a worldwide flood. And there's a lot of data. There's a lot, but they just don't talk about it because it's for people that don't want to talk religion and Bible. They say, no, there was none of this. Yeah, there's a lot of freaking data for all of it, right? And I'm tired of being lied to. So I'm not just going to listen to people that say no, because they're wrong and they constantly get proven wrong. But they get to write a book about it, about how this didn't happen or that didn't happen. But there's a lot of data. You just have to look for the data. I heard Da Vinci opened up a bull's head, dual ped people to study circulation. Yeah, they all did that. Listen, most of the medical industry now used to dig bodies up to find out how bodies worked and stuff. Remember, they're not good people. Like if you learn how medicine was started, they didn't care about you. They wanted to sell you stuff. So they would dig people up and cut their bodies apart, and they would have body snatchers that would make money selling them to companies and medical schools and stuff. And they still don't care about you. If 44 four-star generals a couple months ago, there was like 8 during World War II. They get private jets. Yep, definitely. Okay, what was I looking for? Now I completely forgot where I was. Oh, okay. Mount Ararat. Who said that? Hey, Mount Ararat. Yeah. Mount Ararat. Yeah, that's what it was. And what's at the bottom of Mount Ararat? What are those temples? Temples by Mount Ararat. Temples. What's it called? Cohort Vyop. Noah's Ark. So it says, or Noah's Ark believed to have landed. It says the word believed, not some freaking crazy Christians think it landed. No, the general consensus from non-atheist scientists and historians believe that this is where Noah's Ark landed. Now, whether Noah's Ark had dinosaurs and what's to call on it, we don't know. But it appears that was an actual thing. Now, it could have been over-glorified in the writings at the time. We don't know. We only know what's written down, right? So what are you going to do? Okay, Greco-Roman Rollins, Zarnat Temple. Ruins in Turkey. Göbekli Tepe. That's what it is. Göbekli Tepe. And they've got like, so that's right near where they said it landed. All right. Yeah. I got you. Are you in? Oh, dang it. All right, there you go, brother. It's done. They burn witches who naturally healed people. Yeah, you can't be doing that. 97% one thing, one here, the other 3%. Yep. Carbon dating similar to PCR tests. You can set how you want. Right, and that's a huge problem. And the problem with also is there's not supposed to be any carbon-14 in diamond because it's too old. But guess what they find? Carbon-14 in diamond. There's not supposed to be any carbon-14 in coal. But guess what they find? Carbon-14 in coal. I used to have a band called Carbon-14. So and this was back when I was in my teeth. And we knew this back then. And now, but people are, so many people go to college now that can't grasp that they're not learning truth. They're learning theory and hypothesis. And they speak it like it's the truth. A study by Johns Hopkins says their brains won't hold up. The brain fills up. They screwed themselves up with hard body versus soft body fossils. They still find soft body fossils, right? We found ovaries or ovum and eggs and sperm. We found in 2004 we found a Tyrannosaurus Rex with meat, and we found big ass Bronchiosauruses that still stink. Right? And I'm tired of people saying, but the stone near it was 70 billion years old. Okay, great. But also the stone that came out of Mount St. Helens should be 40 years old, and it says it's 25 million years old. So something's going wrong. I'm just tired of people just lying. And they don't say, when we assume that we're right, this is it. Yeah. Zygotes. There you go. What's this channel all about? It's I'm here to teach and to be taught and to play video games and to learn about science, history, carpentry, movies, worked in the movie industry, worked in the music industry. Have a good time. So no immortality. Right, so this stuff, so go back to Tepe. Okay, let's look at this. Göbekli Tepe. Okay, Göbekli Tepe. Okay, so here's a very interesting thing about Göbekli Tepe. So right by where the freaking Ark was found, and this is all dug out. And when you look at all of the imagery at this place, they just have animals carved into the walls. All these animals, right? So maybe they just worshipped animals, or maybe not. Legends are more reliable. Very likely Quincy Mate had dinosaurs a few thousand years ago. Look, listen, and we found dinosaurs in California in the tar pits. They shouldn't have lasted 25 million years. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But the problem is, people don't like being called liars, you know. And how many people have PhDs in this? Because they learned what was written down by other PhDs. The people that create knowledge in college and universities are the research colleges, and they sell to the rest of the colleges. They say, this is what we figured out. Here, you guys can all sell that to learn it. Opposite of a bigot, open-minded as fuck. Yeah, it's his job. It's his job. Obedience versus competence. Yeah, it's really freaking cool. And they show you what your ding-ding looks like when you're peeing. But yeah, it's so freaking cool. All the animal carvings, all in there. No, it's not much of a job. It's the only thing he's got. It's the only thing he's got. And the Vatican and its institutions open 95% of universities. Yeah, and you can't, and you can apparently go in there. So this is where they want to say civilization began. Okay, was Göbekli Tepe. All right, but why did it empty out? Why is there nobody there anymore? So if a great flood happened, and every major religion on the planet has a great flood story, right? And obviously there's people here now, so we know that. We know there's people here now, and there's animals here now, and we do not have fossils beyond the Cambrian explosion. So all of a sudden, in the fossil records, there's nothing, then everything, and then nothing new after that, right? So it's like, but these are uncomfortable questions to be answered to people that are just lying because they'll say, I've got a PhD, you stupid prick. I'm like, okay, cool. Just show me the proof. And then they go, like, you can't use history and science. Science is repeatable. History isn't. That's why it's history. It's back. It's previous. If it's repeated, it's now. It's not history anymore, right? I've got this. Voye. Where's that? Voye. Dang it. There you go. Oh, almost at it. Voye. There you go. Yeah, in the desert, right? Ancient times sound like a blast beside the fact that I'm a woman. Yeah, listen, women didn't have a problem in the past. There were plenty of Cleopatra and other women rulers and women kings. Remember, when kings died, women took their place until the sons got old enough. But the women always had a lot to do. The feminist thing is a rewriting of history. Because you can find, like I said, and even the racism thing, if you look up famous millionaire black women from the 1800s, you can find plenty. So what do you mean? I thought black people weren't allowed to do anything. Well, they lied to you because that was a theory. That was a theory that somebody came up with and they sold it to you in college. Is it bad if I download it? No. Get the information. Get your info however you need to get it. Someone recorded the flood. enslaved men had a harder time than enslaved women. Yes, of course, yeah. And they don't teach that though. They teach men suck, and women are under the thumb of men. But no, that's not. They don't tell you the truth, right? And they say, well, men, yeah, how many men? 0.03% of men. Right, 0.3%, and everybody was a slave. Every skin color was a slave of every other skin color. The reason it's a big problem in America is because the skin color is different. If you're Asian and you had Asian slaves, when the slaves were freed, you can't tell who was the slave holder and the slave, right? Because they're all the same. Like summer came up, full-blown civilizations built up. Being Irish, I would have loved to have been living in the ancient Celtic societies. I would have been a warrior. Walk with my boobs out like a man. Yeah, you'd want to protect your boobs from freaking arrows and knives. Fled Harlem when they passed emancipation. They did everything. Listen, there was black slaveholders too, but that doesn't fit the freaking narrative. Yeah, that doesn't fit the narrative. I'm just tired. I think everybody's tired of being lied to. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter because if you have black people that want to be racist towards the other races, they just say this is the reason why I am because you guys did this to us. Okay, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. I mean, like chilling at the village, like it's a hot day, you know. You move out west coast, you still can. The first chattel slave was an African. Yes, that's exactly right. Anthony Johnson, right? He was this, right. He. How do you think we learned about African slaves being available for sale? How do you think we found out? We don't have internet. We didn't have newspapers. How do you think Americans found out that there were slaves for sale in Africa? Who do you think told us that there were tribes in Africa that would sell other tribes? How do you think we found out? They told us. They said, hey, do you want to buy that? We didn't go there. We didn't go. Roots was a Hollywood movie. You know, we didn't go over there and capture people. It's not the way it works. Of course I'm going to have armor on for a fight. Blue. They call her Blue. Loretta Blue. All right, what was I looking at? Okay. Let's watch this. In the Torah, Moses had the son that mentioned finding the ruins of the temples when he came down from Ararat. So in Turkey. Right, in Turkey. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Cole. What up, Brisk, brother?
At Göbekli Tepe, gods and mortals once walked the earth. So the old stories must surely once have told.
Oh, this is freaking this is 3 hours long. We should probably do this later. I don't want tits swinging about in battle. Seems uncomfy. I want them secure, but man, the stigma of having nipple out is a little crazy to me because I always be naked. Yeah, listen, women have always protect their breasts. The breast is what feeds the children. Women used to love having children before like the 1960s. So they wanted their breasts protected because they said, this is how I'm going to feed my kids. The free the nipple thing has only been going on for about 60 years. It was not a thing in the 1950s. It wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. It wasn't a thing until widespread prostitution became a thing. A bunch of powerful men convinced women with no power to become prostitutes for them as pimps. And then it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again. And then OnlyFans happens again. All these women are working for a guy to make a guy rich. The pimp is getting a cut of what the prostitutes make. It's the same thing, but the little piece of skin is somehow illegal. Yep. How many women? But remember, women helped. Men wrote the laws and built the Constitution, but they had wives and daughters. They had wives that they talked to about and they commiserated with also. But the men were the ones that signed the laws. Women, it wasn't like women weren't involved at all. That's another lie. Like even now, why do we call like the first lady and stuff? Women still hold power like that, and they always have. The queen. It used to be based on family. Now it's not. Like back when it was during kings and queens days, back in the aristocracy and whatnot. If the husband died, the wife took power until the kid got old enough. because they would go after that. The woman could still have children. The woman controlled the bloodline. If you died in battle, your wife, was your queen still. If she had we won't talk about that, but she kept the bloodline going, and you care about your kids. We've convinced people to not care about their kids. The kids are just abortions that we forgot to have. That's all they are now, and that's what's so freaking wackadoo crazy. Yeah, but it's not illegal for men. I don't know, man. So listen. When women do it, they do it because they know it's sexualized, and they want to. They don't just have them out at work, right? They don't do that. Men don't either, right? So you and you know how attraction works, right? And you know that there are evil men, right? You know that are evil men that will be, oh, well, I couldn't contain myself. So don't you think that it would be best for society to not do that, right? So while we're taking time to weed out all of the evil men, to not maybe be walking around with your boobs and butt cheeks out, because you're going to have these men that can't control themselves. So it makes sense to keep the crime and the rape down as much as possible. It makes sense to not have body parts out and swinging. I'm just saying, it makes sense. You can't say we should be like men, because you're not men. You're not men. Listen, absolutely. You should. No, I think everybody should wear a shirt. Everybody should cover up. Right. It's not. It's you know it as well as I do. I know women were involved in just saying they can't have the cover of nipples. I don't want to hear the nipple bullshit. Queen comes from the word wife in Norse. Yep. I don't want people seeing my nips. I want to do other nips. This is Gobekli Tepe, and then we were talking about the free the nipple for a moment. Yeah. If a man is walking around shirtless for a walk, why can't a woman do it? I just told you. Maybe it was before I said it. That's why a queen could be charged for treason and an affair. What up, lamb? Yeah. You can't do that. Free the nipple was a big deal when I left high school in 2013. Yeah, it's crazy. And listen, who do you think started that? If you get a bunch of girls that pull their nipples out, they're going to get a lot more attention than with them not having their nipples out. Where do you think that's going to go? When all of a sudden the attention is, oh, there she is with her boobs out again. Maybe if I show my butthole. Maybe if I get into porn. It's just the development of we know the way that the human mind works. It's not good. You know your value. Don't ruin it. Being chaste is paramount for both sexes. I agree. My girlfriend had no TDs. I didn't even realize what's your choice. It's your choice, but why? Right? Why? What is going to become of it? People think of now. I'm hot now. I want my boobs out now. Okay, but what happens in a month? What happens in a year? It's not going to be the same. You're only thinking about right now, right? And that's the problem. You got to think. Okay, and you might be able to handle it, but other people won't. Women have a problem with attention, and we know this. Men don't because they're ugly, but all women are beautiful, right? So great. So women have their boobs out, they get a whole bunch of attention. But then you're going to get another woman that comes out with her boobs out, and then she's going to get attention because she didn't have her boobs out yesterday and you did. So now the new boobs come out. And then what? Now you lose that. Now what are you going to do to get attention? Just start putting a shirt back on? No, it doesn't work like that. I get the sexualization. That's why we don't hold men to the same standards. I don't want my nipple out personally because it's cold, but still, why do men let them out? Because it's hot, right? And men usually do the labor, and when we're doing labor, we usually have shirts off around other men doing labor with other men. But if a woman comes out and says, "Hey, I'm on the construction crew," what up, lamb? As you said, it's a choice. You really shouldn't really generalize that. Silly me, I thought a feminist soldier back then. Silly old me thought I was a feminist soldier back then. Yeah, that right. But what would it do? And then look what's going on in England now. It was just like 2 days ago that they're finally said, how did we allow the rape gangs to get so big? That's crazy. And they, trust me, there's no free the nipple going on in the UK right now because you're going to get, because there's rape gangs, right? Yeah. Have an attractive teacher who is tone deaf and played favoritism? Yes, absolutely, Ben. Absolutely. We talking about crazy stuff. The new boobs come out. The boobs are getting for GTA 6. Modern feminism is cancer. Clothes shouldn't be optional. Right. Yeah. I thought this was about history and archaeology. Yeah, well, we got into law, but yeah, we got into to law and social stigmas. Islam holds men to the same standard. It's not always enforced, and Islam's demonized. Culture in Europe has the same values, even headwear. Yep. Got off topic. That was your fault, Katra. My fault too for not staying on topic. Women aren't allowed on cruise because it distracts men and people die. Yep, that's true too. Anything that's intuitively sucked up once we covered up. Yeah, I agree because it's human attraction. When babies are born, they're attracted to the breast. They're attracted to the nipple because that's how they get nourishment. That's where they get their B12. Right? So, and that basically stays with men throughout their life. It's freaking hindbrain. It's brainstem. It's reptilian brain, so they say. But yeah, that stays in it, and it leads to bad things because evil exists. So we have to do what we can as a society to keep while we weed out the evil. We don't push it. We don't want people getting hurt. We want to protect as many people as possible. I'm not all men. It's not all men. It's the evil men. It's evil. Absolutely. My beautiful wall. All of it. All right, let's see. All right, still respect you. Wish you were more specific. Oh yeah. Yeah, listen. We got little short bursts of what's going on here. Okay. Let's find some shorter go back lead top by real quick. This is 3 hours long. We can watch it, but I haven't even eaten dinner yet. Okay, where are we at? Go back lead. He's like, what is this channel about again? A free nipple. Yeah, I want everybody safe, and it's not. Listen, if you can't afford a shirt, I'll buy you one. Okay. Like, look, I can't afford shirts. I need my nipples out. It's personal. Bam. Okay, let's say that's a half hour. Let's see if we can find something shorter. Okay, what's this guy have to say? I think you were mentioning about this. The world's oldest megalithic structure. All right, I don't know what this is, but we'll look at it.
Then along comes Göbekli Tepe, 7,000 years older than Stonehenge.
7,000 years old.
Sophisticated site, very large scale. Basically, 50 times as much as they've already excavated is still under the ground.
50? Did he say 50? 50 times more is underground still? Hold on.
Then along comes Göbekli Tepe, 7,000 years older than Stonehenge. Incredibly sophisticated site, very large scale. Basically, 50 times as much as they've already excavated is still under the ground. That there's hundreds and hundreds of giant stone pillars that they've identified with ground penetrating radar. He's not even sure if they're ever going to excavate them, but by all accounts, we are looking, if we take what's still under the ground into account, we're looking at the largest megalithic site that's ever been created on Earth.
Post-colonialism.
And it pops up 11,600 years ago with no obvious background to it. But to me, that's immediately a rather...
You know why? It has something to do with the chat message just previous to what you said. Big problem is there was a lot of adaptation to the world's religions, and this would prove troublesome for a lot of religious leaders, and it would prove troublesome for a lot of the atheist or secular leaders, because then it couldn't say, oh, it's just a book of fairy tales, and it brings up problems. So it's easy to just say, I know you'd become a billionaire by exposing Göbekli and filming it and putting movie rights on things and whatnot. How about we just give you the money and you just shh. If you're, I need your clothes, your glasses, and your motorcycle and a sandwich. I used to drive teachers insane because I would start debating, quickly realize, yeah, they're right. Yeah, but it's fun to double down and proceed. Yeah, it happens a lot. It is greedy, Ben. I can't give you a motorcycle. I'll give you a unicycle. Yeah, they changed all the languages they're trying to change with alternate history. That's exactly what's going on. It's not difficult to see. It's not difficult to see when you learn what's happened previously. And history is the only way to learn that.
They're puzzling in an interesting situation, and I would be remiss as an author and an inquirer into these matters if I didn't take great interest in that. The sudden appearance, 7,000 years before Stonehenge, of a megalithic site that dwarfs Stonehenge, to me, that's a mystery. Then along comes Göbekli Tepe.
Okay, let's see. All right, not during Easter. Not during Easter. Okay, there we go. All right.
Civilization began about 6,000 years ago.
Unicycle with 2
that
gears.
was the view for decades. And before that,
I don't want this freaking AI crap. I want to find something. And the thing is, it's the oldest temple in the world, right? So if it's the oldest temple in the world, why aren't there temples before that? And they had all this technology to carve stone. So they didn't carve stone with stone. So they had metal tools before the Stone Age, right? So it's like, you took a dive with what, Hippocrates? Give me 24 hours in the Vatican vaults. Ruins in New Zealand have been classified until 2080. Have been classified until 2080? The Quran doesn't say Muhammad was 600 AD. It places around 12 then. Joe Rogan gained more steroids, please. All right, got it. Dawn of Civilization. I want to find something. Let me just look at shorts then. Here we go. Okay.
We're heading in to see some of the most impressive and the most important artifacts ever found on Earth, which date back to the end of the last ice age here.
Right, okay, right. So think about why that would be. The end of the last ice age, right? So the theory is that there was a lot of water on Earth, okay? A lot of water. The ice age is what froze the water back up to the poles, right? So there was a lot of water, now there's less water. And the first place we could find after that happened is Göbekli Tepe, right? So if say there was a great flood while the water was melting at the end and then started to freeze back up at the poles, okay, cool. So now all the water is at the poles that was covering all the Earth. And then people are like, whoo, all right, let's start carving some stone, okay?
Painted boar statue recently discovered at Göbekli Tepe. It's the red ochre, which really blows me away. An actual wild boar jaw was discovered, part of ceremonial or shamanic practice. This is a giant porthole stone, part of one, and it has what looks like a vulture, maybe a feline, maybe a canid, we're not sure, next to it. Another very interesting discovery was a slab of stone embedded in the wall of enclosure D, and it had an H in the middle, and it's got two kind of C's on either side, one on the right inverted, and it just shows you how much amazing artwork was at just one site like Göbekli Tepe.
So you can't, typically when there's a society like now, you can spray paint and stuff, but that takes a couple of minutes and you can do it in the middle of the night. You're not carving on a main wall of the frickin' library for a week. So everything that's there was planned. Everything was there. They're saying, okay, carve this here, carve this there. And people had it is not graffiti because other people didn't graffiti over it and things like that, right? The mounds and floors in are really old. They just don't realize that they used to play pool with an archaeologist. What's NA? The mounds and floors are just really old. Yeah, they are. Yeah, no, dude. I used to play. We needed to talk. I used to play pool with an archaeologist too at the tavern on 74. I saw this mini series where the Ice Age, they were about to drink the blood of what they believed to be the dead friend for the vitamin C. Jeez, I didn't say much about. He didn't say much. He just nodded and said, "Dude," a lot. And they're really old. Right. It's interesting that Epstein was really into finding the lost city of Atlantis and paid to study for auctions with us. Cuba. Yeah, so a lot of those. I've worked in the movie industry for a long time, and I met a lot of people A lot of people with a lot more money than they could spend, because they were making so much money that even if they spent it, they would still make more than they could spend. Anyway, just like Hitler wanted to find out the same type of thing. Hitler and the Nazis were following a different religion, let's say. They were trying to find out if it was not Atlantis, we think we know where Atlantis was, but there's a lot of stuff under the ice, right? So we can look into it one stream, how the Nazis used to go. I think can't remember if it was the Arctic Circle or Antarctica. I can't remember, but they definitely sent, let's see, Nazi experimentation in the North Pole. Here you go. This was April 14th last year. Hitler's one of Hitler's bases has been found, revealed a forgotten base in the Arctic wasteland. During World War II, was primarily linked to meteorological data, not human experimentation. The most notable activity in 1942 of the secret base, the Schlossgraber, the treasure hunter. It's called the treasure hunter. Okay, weather station in Alexandria land, abandoned in 1944. Its crew poisoned themselves eating tainted polar bear meat. So polar bears so high in vitamin A, it'll kill you, like especially the livers. Epstein admitted his family were the Vienna bankers in the email. He also admitted literally talking to Rothschilds. Of course. All that shit's linked. All of that shit's linked. The Nazis. Yes, a cult. That's what I was trying to say. A cult. The permafrost was studied by scout and rampage around the apartment buildings buried. New Schubenland. There's a bunch. Okay. The station in Alexandria, Antarctic exploration, 38 to 39. Before the war, German explanation of Antarctica. Here you go. That's what you were saying. Norskwepertland. Sorry, you can't see it. Right there. Theory that use bases advanced technology have been thoroughly debunked. Don't worry, they've been thoroughly debunked, which means they didn't find anything. Not they've been thoroughly debunked because they don't know. The permafrost study is a co-owned apartment building. Most technology you enjoy every day is all traced back to Nazi technology. Also, shout out to Sharpsburg. What up, brother? Yes, right. Operation Paperclip was the technology grab. The scientists and everything that we didn't have put to death, the smart people we brought to America. And Russia got some too. Best community on YouTube. Much love. Thank you, John, brother. The Nazis were consistently rationalizing their contradictions when meeting other cultures like Persians and Asians. Right, yep. Lithuania or something. Small study, you have pictures you can find in the permafrost. Lithuania study in the permafrost? Cryogenic structure south. Okay, yeah, there you go. Wow, that's freaking pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. That's looks like stone patterns in a big old circle. That's so crazy too. Like this shit, like as it just like they because the dirt over top of the ice, right? The dirt over top of the ice kept the ice refrigerated, kept it insulated, and then grass grew over top of it. I mean, obviously not all of it, but there's grass. Nazis traveled the world searching for artifacts to gain power. Right. And they thought they could find Nazi alien technology and keys to the world, keys to like the what's the thing? Oh, damn it! In the Bible, the freaking nuclear power generator. The what the hell is it called? Dang it! Nazis, progressives, Zionists, synonymous terms. Yeah. It's funny that what happened to all the U-boats that are evacuated? You know where they went? Oh damn it! It starts with an A. Forgot what it was. Oh man, I need my B12. My brain's going crazy. Hitler, Stalin, and Mao were trained by the Jesuits. Catholics created communism. Well, it started with Roman Empire, what they believed to be true. Yeah. It started with, right. There's a reason the Roman Empire, like people didn't, like in the surrounding areas, didn't go back into Rome and say, hey, we've got all these buildings, let's live here. We don't got to rebuild them. There's reasons that they stayed empty. People are clearly more entertained by brain rot BS than this, but people with damn brain, unless you're less to learn something, stick around, got some cool shit. Where did, damn it. Starts with an A. What's the country that a lot of the Nazis went to after the end of the war? Damn it. I'll go with that. No. They showed the depth structure in the apartment building like 13 stories down. No. Argentina. The man of machine, Hollow Earth. They ended up in Russia, Norway, UK. Argentina. Yeah, Argentina. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, Argentina. So apparently that's where they went, and apparently a lot of them were cut up in the steel used in a lot of the U-boats were used to build structures there. Like the before the nuclear, Okay, when you're making scientific equipment that uses radiation, like you're making MRIs and stuff. You want to have the purest iron possible, and iron that was made after World War II contains a lot of just radioactive isotopes that went all around in the atmosphere. So they want to, when they find old U-boats and that steel is very good for medical equipment and for radars and stuff. So they use that stuff. Look. Old boat steel used for radars. Okay, pre-1945 steel from sunken ships is called low background steel. Low background steel. Before the nuclear testing introduced radioactivity to the atmosphere, this clean steel is highly valued for sensitive scientific and medical equipment, such as radioactive counters, rather than the radar systems in themselves. So they call that low background steel, which means it got anything that we make now has radiation in it from that. So they use that for sensitive stuff. And so a lot of that stuff was cut up to be used as scrap, and it was worth its weight in gold. Argentina and Venezuela. Guatemala, yeah. But Argentina generally, right. But they went all over the place. Yeah. Live with the Guatemalan bulldog of a woman. She's part Austrian, straight fags. I mean, honestly, I think they did. But a shit ton of them escaped. Supposedly, so did the guy with the small mustache to Argentina. Anywhere they could hide, yeah, right, yeah. It's odd. It's odd that it's that pervasive.
Well, wait a second. Every year we're learning more and more stuff, and each sites go back to
right. So every year we learn more stuff. So everything previous to this year is wrong about a lot of shit. So if your school book was written for whatever, science, history, whatever, was written in 1998, a lot of advancements have happened back then. So if you graduated in the 2000s, none of this stuff even touched your radar. There was an HQ set up in Argentina for them already. Yes. Yeah, he's great.
Because when we know that Stone Age hunter-gatherers capable of, monumental structures, look at Göbekli Tepe. My first thought is, well, wait a second. You have no idea who built Göbekli Tepe. Right. You don't know, and you're just projecting your own imaginary scenario. Like, wait a minute.
And this happens with all science. They make assumptions, and they say, oh, well, if this happened, then this makes sense. But this is all make-believe. They got no clue. Like saying, and it pisses me off all the time about the evolution thing. They say now that we started off as a single-celled organism that got infected by a bacteria, but we don't have the bacteria or a virus, and we don't have the bacteria and we don't have the virus or the single-celled organism, and we don't have them, so we don't know because it's got to be repeatable. Science is repeatable, so they're just saying shit. And remember, for most of my life, the appendix in your body was a vestigial organ. It was left over when we were lizards. But now we know, oh, well, it's not. It's not a vestigial organ. It's where our gut microbiome lives. And when our gut microbiome gets cleaned out by whatever, if we eat antibiotics or bad diarrhea, it repopulates our gut flora. So like, oh, it's not from when we were lizards, and it's just like, but I was taught that. I was taught that we didn't need it, and it should be, and you can take it out and get rid of it because we don't need it anymore as humans. They were just wrong. They were just wrong. And the Catholics were the collaborators. They got a fake passport, all that, and they got the King and Zionist movement out of the Nazi territory to run the war. Hey. So the 70% has been changed. The 70% has been changed. That used to be called junk DNA. But now we know that the DNA, and this is in the 2025, now we know that the DNA that we used to call junk is now what is the playback for when we start splitting sperm and egg, and it starts splitting when to become a finger, when to become a thumbnail, when to become a nostril. That's what that other 70% is. So when they matched us to chimpanzees, they thought only the top 5% of DNA made us who we were. So they checked the top 5% of chimp DNA and the top 5% of human DNA, and we were 98% match. So that started a whole bunch of stuff. But now the current, as of December 2025, we're only 17%. And supposedly if we get over 11, then we're not related. But we're at 17% now, and it keeps getting more. The more we learn about the DNA and the less now that it's so cheap to do a genome wackadoo with the freaking genome man, damn, I need my B12. It's in our body. If it's in our bodies from birth, we're designed to need. I agree. Now, and absolutely, and I've always thought that. When you talk to these people and you know what you're talking about, you realize that they don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense, and they make shit up to fill in the gaps, and they make you feel stupid. They use confidence, the fake it till they make it mindset. It's DNA, magnetism, mitochondria, DNA is huge. Yeah. Same guy thought they mapped our DNA. Right, so DNA mapping, genetic, what do they call it? Genetic genome sequencing. So it's only like $300 to sequence a human genome now, when it used to be 30,000, and before that it was like $1 million. So now that we can do it so cheaply, we can see. And then they take babies that didn't make it, and they see what's going on, and in very young stages of their life, and then they can see, well, if we take this out and we keep it going, they miss their finger. So then we've mapped what the rest of the DNA is. So it tells your fingers when you just have a little globular frickin' jamulator and it starts to split, the DNA is telling that when to happen. They're like timing circuits. It's pretty cool. Dude, DNA literally is TTFO. Like dinosaur bones, straight CIA.
Oh, they're fully capable of creating monumental architecture. And I'm like, okay, I guess they've got a lot of spare time and a lot of extra people, hunter-gatherers, we know from Stone Age, from multiple, and this guy's an archaeologist, he should know better. I mean, nomadic hunter-gatherers are typically, just extended families of maybe 40 to 100 people for the most part, right? To accomplish these kinds of monumental infrastructure workings, you have to have an organized society.
Right.
You have to have leisure time. You have to have abundant food. You have to have...
Right. You can't be hunting 16 hours a day, eating and then falling asleep. You've got to have people that are farmers to feed the rest of the people and whatnot. It doesn't make... It's all falling apart. All the bullshit is just falling apart. And the thing is, people got 40-year careers off a lot of this. They will never really do it, too many individuals.
The people that are doing this are not spending their time out hunting.
No.
Right? No. And why would you do it? What's the motive there? So wait a second. Every year we're learning more and more.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
And welcome to Ancient Architects.
You didn't freaking do very much there, buddy.
Well, the thing that I think is so amazing about Göbekli Tepe, so in 1993 or 1995, when it's discovered, 12,000-year-old Mecca satellite anomaly site. As they're discovering more and more and more, they're realizing that Göbekli Tepe, they're filling in the gaps between there and Mesopotamia. They're finding cities. So Göbekli Tepe is 11,500 or 11,600 years old. Now they're finding cities that are 8,000 years old. Now they're finding cities that are 7,000 years old. So they're weaving together the story, and we have this solid piece of we have a solid body of evidence pushing civilization further back all the way to the Ice Age. Well, the thing that I think is
right back to the Ice Age, right? And then what happens when the ice melts? Right, and that there's your flood story, right? But you have to either trust history or trust science, and that's why I like studying multiple sources. I did this on my own. So if you study what you learn from school and what you learn outside of school, especially, I was very, very blessed to be in a situation, my father working with very, very, very smart people, and we would have Christmas parties, and so we would be surrounded with a bunch of very smart people creating the technologies of the world, getting drunk and talking to 16-year-old me about whatever. And it's amazing when they're just like, yeah, it's all bullshit. Anything they don't, when they're creating technologies, they're not looking at textbooks. Textbooks are there for kids to learn stuff, not to become competition to the companies that are already there. They're teaching you things to make you non-competitive. If you can get to the upper crust, if you can get to the freaking $10,000 a credit hour schools, you can learn the top of the top, and then you can blend in. But that's your father's father has to know somebody else's father's father to get you into somewhere. It's not, you already need to be elite to learn to get an elite education. The priest. Okay, sorry. So do you know anything about the conspiracy about the unknown powerful entity wanting to abort their children? Yes, that happens. So that's not a conspiracy theory. That's absolute. So stem cells, when in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, when I first started hearing about stem cells, they tried to push it off as a conspiracy theory. They don't exist. And then once other countries, especially like Turkey and Mexico, started doing a lot of stem cell research, and China, then America would be like, okay, we have to, but it can have bad problems and cause cancer, so don't use stem cells. So America was like only for research. And then now people are leaving America to go get stem cell. Dude, listen, the Virgin Islands is where me and my family like to go to vacation. There's all kinds of famous basketball players, football players, and whatnot. They go there on vacation, and then from St. Thomas, a crew will come over to the house, the house that they're staying in, and they'll give them stem cell infusions. So it's absolutely being done to fix people that are worth it. When you're worth tens of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars to corporations, they want to protect their investment, and they'll use stuff like that. But for us, we get the bottom of the boot. Definitely been legal in Japan to create chips since like 2012, but using human neurons legal in America more recently. Yes, stem cells are legal in so many countries. America's religious stigma is something like, I don't think it's the religious stigma. I really don't think it is. I think it's the medical industry knows that they'll lose a lot of ground for cancers and back pain. Listen, back pain is one of the largest reasons that people go to the doctor and buy over-the-counter and prescription pharmaceuticals. So they know, and like Ronnie Coleman, Mr. Olympia, he couldn't even barely walk, and now he's lifting again after going on Joe Rogan and going to get stem cells done. I think he went to Turkey also. That might have been Mexico, but one of the two. And so now he's lifting weights again. So and he's had his spine fused, and it's reversing that stuff. I think it would cost a whole lot. Like, they don't even talk about vitamins. They don't talk about vitamins and minerals anymore in schools. They tell you if you get sick, go to the doctor. They tell you if you get ADHD, if you feel like you have ADHD symptoms, go to the doctor and get on amphetamine salts. And I know a lot of people that went from amphetamines to meth. I mean, Adderall to meth, and wasted a bunch of years of their lives. So it's very profitable to not treat people, to only do symptom management. But I think they'll blame it on the religious. It's just a blame. It's just a blame. I don't. It's just what the news tells us. I don't think so. I don't. But who's right? Who knows, right? It's worse than the most unforgivable sin. Nephilim in the Bible were immediately damned. It's the only time it happened because they were eating people over using human cell reserves. Well, listen, you can keep your when you give birth now, that you can get your baby's cord blood frozen, and you can use that in the future. And that's the thing you can purchase. That's the thing you can purchase now. But you're going to pay for every step of the way, every bit of it. But not even religious is metaphorical to me. What up, Librado? Yeah, a lot of opiates, a lot. I agree, some costs are too high. Pharmaceutical industry will suffer a huge hit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Big pharma should be taxed to cover the damage it causes. Listen, the medical industry is the only industry that you can't return stuff that doesn't work. If they put you on pharmaceuticals that don't work for a year and they say, oh, well, let's try another one, they don't refund you for everything that didn't work. It didn't work. Oh, we'll just add something else to your antidepressants, and then we'll add an antidepressant on top of this and on top of that. The reason most people that get on SSRIs feel relief is because of the window. They say 4 to 6 weeks, 2 to 3 months before you notice a difference. So people can have seasonal affective disorder in the winter, get on antidepressants, and it's not the antidepressant that helps. It's that they get more sunlight, they get outside, they're not in the winter anymore, right? And there's a lot of data on that, especially from China. Yeah, it's vitamin D. Did you hear about the Kennedys did to their sister because she was a floozy and jeopardized her? They gave her a lobotomy. Yes, they gave her a lobotomy. Yep, I know all. Yep, placenta stuff makes sense. It's a good point. Listen, a lot of animals eat their placenta. Cats. Have you ever seen cats give birth? They clean off the babies. They chew through the umbilical cord. They eat the placenta because in nature that's a lot of freaking energy. That's a lot of nutrition. Heck yeah, she wasn't playing ball. Yep. They buy politicians, of course, they won't have to pay the same rules. No. Politicians and ultra-rich people pay monthly or weekly, usually monthly, for, it's usually $150 a week, but they pay monthly, right? And so if they have a doctor, they say, hey, something's happening, hey, this happens, hey, I got a bump on my butt cheeks or whatever. The doctor says, send me a picture. It's all done over text, and they can send in prescriptions, or they show up. Rich people don't go to hospitals because hospitals are places to die and get sick. There's a lot of sick people. And if you listen, what about social distancing? What about washing my hands? They don't freaking bleach down hospitals everywhere. And I've worked on the hospital HVAC systems. They don't filter it through HEPA filters and shit. They just say they do. Humans buried him. Yeah, private doctors. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Talk about, where do you think I found out about? So when I was in the movie industry and working on $100 million or more movies, they want to protect you while you're working for them. So they make sure that you take vitamins and minerals. Talk about the I word. They made sure you took that during COVID, and they told you to wait till after the show was done to get the jab. That's crazy because they didn't want you to get sick and then to miss more days. Bro, my sister's in charge of research and development for GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceutical Giant. I asked her the conspiracy questions, and she wouldn't even answer me. My brother-in-law then told me, yeah, brother. They told me they're always listening. They're always listening, Johnny.
We're beginning to see some of the most impressive and the most important artifacts ever found on Earth, which date back to the
You have to take everything in. If you're listening to your teachers at school and think that that's gospel, you're sorely mistaken. You have to, you learn the most outside of school. When I went to school, we still had manufacturing in America. They needed us healthy. Now they make money off of us being sick. America makes more money off of healthcare than manufacturing. If back when I was young, you had to be good and healthy. They made sure Flintstone vitamins were a thing. The kids were told to take vitamins. Now, if you ask about vitamins, they say, oh, you look healthy. It's all bullshit. Vitamins and minerals is what runs your body. It's what you get from your food that you need. That's it. If you've got any psychological issues, make sure you're getting what you need nutrient-wise first before going to the doctors if you're not going through a crisis. If you feel like you're depressed, you're not energetic, first make sure you're getting what you should. I do remember that Peter Sellers movie where his employer died and people meant to take advantage of him being a vulnerable person. No, not yet, Anomaly. Not yet. I'm waiting on her. John, I hear that your Wi-Fi can spy on your home. Yeah. If you look at, it's called 5G is millimeter wave, right? And they can use 5G millimeter wave and they can map it. They can map what bounces off your body. They know, you can see like where the routers are, and then where those waves absorb into your body and whatnot, and they can image that. Let me see if we can find it. Let me see if we can find something on it. Yeah, there's trilateral turn down the turn phase of China took over, and everyone's going to hell and overprescribed meds and diagnosis. Yep. Okay, let's see. Let me shut some of this stuff down. Okay, let's see. Image mapping using Wi-Fi. Edge mapping. Okay, so as you pass through that, just like how it bounces off the walls and absorbs into your skin, I was hoping they would show a little more of that, but it's called edge mapping.
Your Wi-Fi router can already detect when somebody walks through your home. Not with a camera. Not with a sensor you bought. Just the Wi-Fi signal bouncing off your phone. So here's how this works. Your Wi-Fi router is constantly sending out
probably
radio waves
E&A. Yeah, I think you're talking about
These
flock
waves,
cameras.
of course, bounce
No,
off
I'm not. The mesh skirts, but yeah, it's still flock cameras. That's the thing too. Absolutely.
Those reflections change in ways that are really, really specific
to
what moved and how it moved. Your router already tracks something called channel state information, or CSI. It's basically how the router optimizes the signal between itself and all your devices. But CSI also encodes the shape and movement of everything between the router and your devices. And of course, that includes you. Your existing network essentially becomes a motion sensor. Now, if what I'm saying is already evoking that scene from The Dark Knight where the Batman uses sonar from cell phones to catch the Joker, you would be pretty close to the money, because motion detection is just step 1. Researchers have already published steps 2 and 3. Let's get into it.
Now that we have this incredible algorithmic power, this pattern recognition and predictive technology
AI now.
In AI, and I think the representative stuff I'm going to give you right
microwave
now
spike when
gives
you wish it
some
was bullshit.
flavor
I remember
of
being
what
really
it
little, one of the
is
candy, so I grabbed
that
the chair
Anthropic is probably worried about.
Kitchen top shelf.
So the first one I want to share with you is from a couple years ago. This is a Carnegie Mellon project that used a meta technology.
Ain't no such thing as privacy. Ain't no such thing.
That is basically a way of scanning the human body, and combined it with the signals out of a Wi-Fi router to essentially create a way of detecting people through a wall using just the Wi-Fi in that room.
Right.
With three $30 Wi-Fi routers, this team was able
triangulate
to
everything.
Put together a transmitter and receiver system that could then essentially pull in wireframe images in video form of who's on the other side of the wall and what they're doing. So here's a few representative scenes here. You can see on the left, these are folks in the lab classroom at Carnegie Mellon. On the right is what the Wi-Fi signal combined with dense pose makes possible. This is a technology that makes it possible for anybody to use the infrastructure that's already in your home to act as a sort of in-home radar.
That's exactly what it is. I'd rather they hear it all, everything. I can listen to your phone from to complain overhead. So they can use laser topology. Instead of beaming down a bunch of radio waves, they have they can use laser topology scanning to know where they are. They don't just use GPS, because GPS can be taken out during war or can be shut off during war or invasion or whatever. So you have to have other ways to keep planes in the sky. And so when a laser beam touches a window or something and the window vibrates, it has a interferometer-like effect, and you can convert that right over directly into sound. Yeah. Right, so you have none and you'll love it. So let me look at interferometer. Interferometer. not barometer. So interferometer is a precise lit light instrument that splits a beam or other waves into two paths, then recombine them to find an interference pattern. The difference between the two, the interference pattern, can be the audio wave. Can be, it just shows you the difference, like what happened to the window or the reflective surface, right? Okay, so hold on. Audio. Here's a. This is from 2012, so it's old, but.
Amazon offers hourly employees health care for $5 a week with
Why
$5
not free?
copays.
Why not free? And remember, MIT's got all their education is free. You can go to OpenCourseWare. 4 milliwatt laser. I'm a pigeon. Sabrina Wallace. Yeah. I can also survive in the woods. I live in the woods now. Oh, this is from 2012. So a movable mirror, and that's on the aircraft. Well, that's funny thing you say what you want about the U.S., but there's virtually nowhere else that want to be. No, I agree. No, I wouldn't want to be in Norway. No, that's all experimentation done for the U.S. All those different areas going on, all the different governments going on are just experimentations to see what'll work to adapt over into the U.S. So you see that. Let me zoom in. You can see the interference pattern, and that's the vibration of what the laser is picking up, right? You see so you can take that and turn that back into audio because it's just the frequency of that interference pattern, the frequency that's there. You just play it. You can play it back. You can play it back by that when you separate the frequency using a light dependent resistor. The frequency that light changes will change the electrical signal, and that's what audio is to electrically. Your microphone, you vibrate something, it picks up those vibration changes and turns it into in a magnetic field. Then it amplifies or preamps that over to an amplifier that plays that moves it into a magnetic field to move a speaker. Counting the number of cycles. Okay, so this is basically what it is, right? So then the cycles are frequency per second, cycles per second. So anyway, so then you can do. Laser window audio device. Laser microphone. There you go. There you go. Listen through walls.
Have you ever wanted to eavesdrop on conversations happening in a room thousands of feet away using a laser?
Thousands of feet.
Of course you have, especially if you're a Soviet KGB spy during the Cold War era. Today, I'll be making a laser
Cold
microphone,
War.
a device now used by federal agencies like the CIA to spy on conversations when they don't want to risk planting a microphone inside of a room. A laser microphone can pretty much turn a window into a microphone from a long distance. It works by shining a laser beam at a window or a picture frame inside of a room and capturing the reflection of the beam with a sensor. Any conversations inside the room will send sound waves through the window, causing it to vibrate slightly. These vibrations of the window will modulate the reflected beam of light, and by capturing and processing those oscillations, we can reconstruct the sound waves and hear what's happening inside. Now, for
brother, so you were able to sleep before the B12? If you were able to sleep before the B12, the B12 helped me sleep, but so B12 usually helps with sleep. If you've had a screwed up sleep cycle, if you can get valerian root that to get you back on track, that's a really good thing. And obviously no coffee like 6 hours before bed. But yeah, absolutely. Do you know what strength you're on? I mean, you should, but yeah. What state from? Let me see something. Vitamin B12 deficiency and sleep. Okay, so B12 deficiency, and you got the methylcobalamin or right version of it. I'm hoping. Yeah, magnesium's huge, right, and vitamin D, right? But yeah, sun exposure. But yeah, sounds lesbian. So is sleep disturbance, insomnia, light or restless sleep. So B12 deficiency, low B12 disrupts circadian rhythms, which is your sleep-wake cycle. What if I work with cleaning solutions every day, like dishwashing? Yeah. You want to make sure your body is working at the top, at the peak of what it's doing, because you need to be able to get that shit out of your body as fast as possible. Yeah, coffee too late. There you go. That's the big thing. Yes, B12 in meat, right? Yes, but if your body is not pulling the B12 out of your diet, if you have issues with your guts, your intestines, then you need to. So the supplementation that I do take is it's sublingual. It absorbs through the mouth, so that, and then it starts working. It doesn't have to be methylated by the liver. It's already methylated. It just starts working where it touches, basically. But yeah, B12's in meat. Yeah. So a lot of people, vegetarians and vegans, a lot of the times, if they're really, a lot of their mental issues can be linked to B12 deficiency. Hi, what do you think about living below your means to be financially free? This is what I started doing. I quit my job making money at home. No, agreed. Yes, live below your means. Look how I live. I live below my means. Absolutely, dude. I don't buy clothes. I mean, I'm wearing the same shoes for like 2 years, probably longer than that. Yeah, absolutely. I eat once a day. No, I agree. Look, yes, do what you need to do to get what you want out of life. Yeah, save money and invest. If you can live below your means and invest the extra money, like if you usually spend $500 a week and you're only spending $200 now, invest that $300. Not in the bank, put it in investments, precious metals or S&P 500, something like that. Vegans must be worried. They must be. It's the biggest thing that can kill vegans and vegetarians is low B12. If you eat glucose, it competes for your uptake in new vitamins. Yep. That's why I absorb it directly through my mouth. I mean, I only eat once a day, so I don't get enough, but it's worth it to me. If I eat, I lose energy. So my body's using more energy to digest this stuff than it digests food, and it wipes me out. So I only eat once a day, and I make sure I get my B vitamins, my A, my zinc, C, B12 and D3, absolutely, 100%. If you're on B12, you should definitely be on D3 also. And if you're on D3, you should be on K. And that's the minimum. B12 high dose, 5,000 micrograms is what I take. D3 and vitamin K2, and that's a minimum for every day. Definitely best fishing or hunting, skiing, etc. Back in the 60s and 70s. Definitely Gen X. Chinese pork buns. Lord Alcatraz, that's amazing. You got to live the best days of America. All right, okay. Yeah, currencies is really good, brother. Hey, I'm always here. Hey, no problem, brother. No problem, brother. Q10. You talking about coenzyme Q10? Yeah, I used to take that too. I don't anymore, but I used to take it all the time when I was trying to figure out my body. But yeah, that's a great thing. Great thing for. And I take a lot of collagen now. Collagen and a lot of collagen and creatine. Hi in Montana. And in Montana, I'm homesteading all the time. Yellowstone is great for basic Joe. Yeah. What? Yeah, why? Because they don't eat processed foods. They don't eat farmed foods that have sprayed bullshit and everything on it. Yes, they get everything they need. Yeah, that's why I have chickens. They've got some chicken feed, but everything else, they're eating bugs and leaves out of my yard all day, making me eggs.
Obvious reasons. If you're using this for spying, you'd want to use an invisible infrared laser. But for this video, I'll be using a visible red laser. So just to be clear, YouTube, this is not a tutorial on how to spy on people. Though, to be honest, I think they'd be more concerned about the explosives. The next thing you'll need is a photodiode. This is basically a mini solar cell that converts light into an electrical signal, except it's much more sensitive and has a faster response time. You can find these inside the receivers of most modern TVs and some smoke detectors, although these are usually designed to detect infrared light, so if you want to spy on people, this is what you want to use. But you can also find them on Amazon. These Commie-Mark photodiodes will work great for detecting the red laser, plus the name fits the Soviet theme pretty well.
Commie-Mark.
Next, you'll need an amplifier circuit to boost the weak signal from the photodiode. The ones I bought came with it.
So, do you ever include compost piles in your chicken? Oh yeah. No, yeah, they get access to the compost. Absolutely, yeah. What does processed even mean? It seems like a very vague term that can mean to me. So processed foods are foods that started from the ground and went through many steps before making it to your plate. So blending it, adding emulsifiers to give it a better mouthfeel, adding different chemistries to it to sweeten it or salt it besides salt and sugar. It's them going through a bunch of stuff rather than like it coming off out of the ground and onto your plate. So processed foods. And then ultra processed foods are things that don't even use real nutrition at all, like Twinkies and shit. They take a little bit of a little bit of flour, and they come up with like these different foams and additives that make the sponge more spongy, and preservatives and whatnot. Because remember, it goes through a lot of processing, so it'll rot faster because it's been out of the ground longer. So rot starts after something loses its connection to nature, right? That's when rot starts. So whatever you do to keep that from rotting is processing. Some don't have any supplement. No, absolutely not. 1 meal a day. What's your macronutrients? I at least 2 meals, 8 eggs, bacon, 3 bacon in the morning, dinner, potato. Yeah. I mean, I do not take any multivitamins or combined vitamins. Everything I took is separate, and I experimented with each one to find out where I got the best life out of. So I cover all that. I eat a lot of beef. I usually eat like 6 to 8 ounces of beef in one sitting, or chicken, and definitely eggs. I eat eggs. So for most of the week, for 4 days out of the week, I eat once. Sometimes on the weekends, and if I'm up really early, I do not eat breakfast. I'll eat eggs later on in the day, or like I might scramble up some eggs at like 10 p.m. and just wolf them down right before bed. Do you use wood pulp on most cheese? Do I? No, So it depends. Sometimes I'll eat like 5 or 6, but most days I only eat 1. And it depends. Like I'll use if I bake something, I use eggs in that, obviously. But and I'll make scrambled eggs. And before my eggs go bad, I'll feed them to the chickens. I scramble them and give them back to them, because everything besides raw veggies and fruits will be processed. Right. So what you want would be processed. The problem with if you process it, if someone else processes it and they want it to sit on the shelf, they're going to add preservatives, and they're going to add things like for ice cream, they add emulsifiers and to give it a creamy mouthfeel. And they use a lot of that now because it's very cheap, so that it's not just cream, sugar, and eggs. It's freaking cream, sugar, eggs, emulsifier, like very little bit of cream, or egg supplement or egg replacement and stuff like that. Right. So when I say processed, I'm talking about ultra processed. Like if you go to McDonald's, that burger isn't just ground beef and like milk that's been turned into cheese, like with one enzyme. It's all kinds of preservatives and wackadoodle stuff. And even the cheese and stuff that you get, it's got emulsifiers in it, so it melts nice. But that stuff can absolutely wipe out your gut. Absolutely. Do they put wood pulp in cheese? I have no idea. I've never heard of that. I know. Well. So wood pulp can be processed down into starts with a C. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's called. I can't remember what it's called. Wood pulp food additive. Wood pulp. Cellulose. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, anti-caking agent, thickener, and fiber supplement. Yeah, shredded cheese. There you go. Yep. You're right. Yep. It's too peoply. Yep. They do. Just saying it doesn't. Just saying words like organic. It does not equal healthy. No, I agree. I don't. I typically don't say the word organic. I understand. Absolutely. I agree. First meal is 1 p.m. 8 p.m. is my second meal. So mine's usually around 2:30 to 4:30 for my first meal. And I'll eat something around 10 p.m. So I'll eat a meal. I don't eat 3 meals a day. I eat a meal a day, and I might snack once or twice. Usually my second snack is like a snack, like a pack of crackers or something. Like I'm not eating freaking, I don't eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 95% of cheese in America is GMO, but they don't have the list because GMO bacteria they add after pasteurization. There we go. Good explaining that. Processing food yourself be better. Yep. Thank you, my friend. You wouldn't see cheese in Wisconsin. Get easy peasy. Amish, Mennonite, Hurite, etc. Good friends to have. Good friends to have. Yeah, and they'll teach you how to grow shit. You're the most interactive YouTuber I follow. Always enjoy it. Thank you, Giddy brother. Thank you, my friend. Organic has two separate destinations. Natural works for now. Regenerative is already being co-opted. The standard fiber food is eating fruit, veg, oats, bull. It's actually good meat. Yeah, no, meat will do what you need. Meat will do what you need for you. I gave a squirrel a Kit Kat once that looked at me and said, "My cousin died from this." It's funny. Okay, let's finish up there, bro.
The built-in microphone, so I had to remove that for the photodiode to take its place. Then I stripped the end off of a charger so I can power the circuit, and I did the same to an aux cable so I can output the signal to a laptop. And after covering everything with some hot glue to prevent any short circuits, the receiver is pretty much done. Now I just need to test it out by plugging it into a laptop. Okay, so it turns out this isn't even a laptop.
Freezing and
it's just a
canning.
piece
Yep,
of trash
very good
that
stuff.
can't seem to handle a mono aux cable.
Honestly,
my only other
people would
option
be
is
great
my
for my
desktop
brain.
computer,
Miss my
which
scroll, man.
unfortunately
It's
means
last
the device won't
November.
be portable enough to spy
Jeez,
on any
dude.
government officials. But the good news is, my computer actually recognizes it as a microphone, but can it really pick up sound through a window? To find out, I positioned the laser to reflect off this piece of glass taped to the inside of a box, which will simulate a window. I had to carefully align the laser so its reflection landed precisely on the sensor across the room. For this to work, the reflection needs to be just off to the side of the photodiode. That way, when the beam oscillates, the photodiode receives varying amounts
Right. You don't
of
want
light.
it shining on there, right?
If the beam were perfectly centered on the sensor, it would just keep
All the
outputting
time.
the same voltage, giving us no useful data.
So it wants to be
However, if
able
the
to
beam is
see
wider
that
than the sensor itself, it wouldn't
interference
really matter
pattern.
as much, since most lasers
So
have
the interference pattern is what it'll go light to dark, and then the darker it goes and the lighter it goes, the voltage will swing, and that's the vibration that will turn into the speaker vibration. There's a study saying you ate steak every day, your chances of getting colon cancer. That's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. That's when they did those studies for saying that you need to eat more Fruit Loops every day. Yeah, they accidentally flipped over the food pyramid and put what's worse for you at top and what's best for you at the bottom. No, absolute bullshit. I agree. I like total quiet or maybe some birds. Birds are good. What up, frickin' Dino? Where you been?
gradient of intensity, so as the beam oscillates, the sensor still detects fluctuations in light levels. To simulate a voice behind the window, I placed my phone in the box while I played some copyright-free music at full blast.
Good idea.
And here's what my computer received from the sensor.
Nice. Dino's back. Left found my tablet broken. I found an old one in your closet. See that? When he blocks the light, you can't hear the music.
As you can hear, the audio is actually distinguishable, but there's still a lot of static in the background.
Seems like I spent my
Not
whole
only does the
life
window
that,
vibrate,
missing that
but the
isolation,
vibrations
eh?
of the
You still got a
laser
lot of
over the
life left to
speaker
live,
will pick
brother.
up as well. I can't get rid of the static completely, but instead of using one laser, you could reflect two lasers off the window and capture the reflections on two separate sensors.
And then
by
subtract
comparing the
them.
two different waveforms, you can cut out anything that doesn't match between the two to get rid of some of the noise. But since I'm definitely not doing all that, the best I could do is make the laser and receiver more stable. So I 3D printed this casing for the sensor for it to be easily mounted on.
That's called a differential pair.
To make powering it
one with audio or with signals, you can use a differential pair. One that's going positive to 0 to positive, and one that's going 0 to negative. So when you overlap the two, any noise that matches both cancels out, and that's a great way for signal integrity. Yeah, what sweeteners do you use? No. I use sugar. I just use sugar. Brown sugar and white sugar. That's it. I don't fuck with all the other stuff. Absolutely. Brown sugar and white sugar. And just I only really use sugar in baked goods and my coffee. Everything else is just salt, pepper. I mean, if I make something, obviously, like I'll eat Indian food. I eat a lot of because I don't just eat bland stuff. But like if I eat steak, it's salt and pepper. And I like to grilled onions and a lot of things. Absolutely. Doing whatever you want. The neighbors far enough, don't care with you as long as it doesn't bother them. If you're making protein cakes, nature is soothing always. Dude, yeah. Listen, there's something There's something soothing, something musical about nature. Absolutely. When birds are talking to each other and hear what's going on, it's great. Absolutely great for your mental health. If y'all haven't seen Chris Trump, my opinion back because I had a compost game upgrade. If y'all haven't seen Chris Trump in impersonation, what am I trying to say? Compost game upgrade. What am I missing here?
More convenient, I added this power inlet, and since ambient light can be a problem, I included an adjustable polarizing filter which will block out some ambient light while still letting the laser through. And after all that, it still sounds like crap.
Definitely louder. Nice. You can definitely tell what's going on. I wish he would have played voice, though, to let you know.
Now, this device may seem impractical for real surveillance, but keep in mind the government has a much larger budget than $50, and they
do
definitely still use this technology for
indigenous
surveillance.
microorganisms,
Just look at this
predatory
company.
reasons,
They sell
fish
10
amino
different
acids
versions of
with
this
worth a
thing, and
look.
they only sell to government agencies
Do
and
you
law
ever
enforcement.
go on long
Laser
walks?
microphones
Crazy how
are
much
actually
trees
such a big problem.
Yeah, I do a lot. I walk a lot. I also miss useful kind of neighbors. Yeah, brother, I got them great down here. I'll give someone a shirt off my back and half my sandwich is all I got. Not enough through kindness these days. Today, I love walking better than can get tired. Better when I can get to trees. Yeah, my trees are close. My neighbors are great too. I do a lot for my neighbors. They do a lot for me.
That some high-security government buildings are specifically designed to block them. The easiest countermeasure is to just not have confidential conversations near a window. But that's not always enough, because similar eavesdropping techniques exist using radio or microwave frequencies to detect sound vibrations from objects deep inside of a building. That's part of the reason some secure rooms or even entire buildings are wrapped in a Faraday cage to block all signals in and out. However, this form of spying is gradually being phased out as modern surveillance increasingly relies on hacking phones and computers to intercept electronic communications.
Yep. People have definitely changed. I think people are sick. I think people have a lot of parasites. I think people have a lot of vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And I think it's a lot of people. And if you look at mental health issues and vitamin deficiencies, they go hand in hand. And especially pushing this vegetarian vegan shit on people, and especially the save the planet people, like the please don't eat the cows, don't eat. No. It's absolutely freaking wackadoodle. And I think that's the problem. I mean, why else would we have changed so much? Maybe I've got too much faith in people. Rural people and natural disaster areas, simply better people. Yeah, right, exactly. Because they deal with nature. They deal with nature, and they deal with temperature swings, and they deal if it's this is why people in places where it's the same temperature all year round, nice, warm, they're typically worse to each other. Because they don't need a place to sleep. They can be like, screw you, I hate you, and they can just walk away and not freeze to death and not starve. They can go pull stuff off of the trees to eat, and anywhere. But people that have to plan for the future, people that have to say, hey, in a few months it's going to be freezing cold and I'm going to die if I don't work with people to get food together. I walk the path my cousins and fish as teenagers. Doesn't go so good. You know that feeling. First time I used the laser levels today. I can't believe how good it is. Yeah, really good. I've got one. Yeah, they're great. Yep, I agree with that too. But I think it has to do with our health also. Demoralization, yep, climate change. People do the most damage. They definitely do. They talk about bugs. Yeah, right. There's actually, look at this. Talk about bugs. Have you heard about cricket flour that you're all probably eating? Cricket flour. Cricket flour powder is highly nutritious, sustainable protein made from roasted, finely milled crickets, containing 65% protein and all essential amino acids. Look at that. You can't read it. Vitamin B12. Iron and omega-3s. It's a mild, nutty flavor. So when they're trying to get you to eat bugs, B12 is important now. 1 to 4 replacement for baking powder and protein boosts in smoothies. So when you go to the gym and you ask for protein powder, they're giving you crickets. Not all the time, but they can. They don't got to tell you. Yeah, this is the 3%. Highly digestible protein prebiotic, supporting gut health, muscle growth, and energy. Cricket farming takes less land, water, and feed compared to livestock. Commonly used in smoothies, protein bars, baking brownies, and bread and savory dishes. You ever wonder why your bread doesn't rot anymore? Better than vegan. Lots of parasites though. Right. Well, vegans have to worry about a lot of parasites too. And the thing is, everybody has to. All right. I need to eat something. All right. Where are we at? We're at 2 hours and 50 minutes in. I'm gonna eat me some din din. I stay away from that protein grab off. Yeah. Yes, it's absolutely everything. Right. People need to grow their own tobacco. Absolutely. People need to grow their own tobacco. People need to grow their own weed if you're using it, and people need to make their own alcohol. It's not hard to do. It's very freaking easy, and you don't need to be paying these companies all this money for your freaking habits. All right. I'll be back in about a half hour. I need to eat some food. 6:30, say 7 o'clock. All right. Love you all. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.